Uh-oh. Did it start? Did it start? Did it start? Oh my god. My screen is black though. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my god. We're here. What's up, buddy? We made it to the YouTubes. Okay, no cameras are frozen. We got no chat on the screen, unfortunately. Well, we can work on that later. I'm reading the chat on the side. Your boy Andy has made his triumphant return to the YouTubes. Where I started. Where everything began. Okay, everything's working. Music's working. What's up, Eric? It's a work day right now. It's during the work day, but it's important. We gotta talk about the GMMK Pro. The GMMK is all the rage right now. Let me tweet this real quick. My dog is whining. He's trying to get out. Redeemed Andy Wing for 20 seconds. How come not Twitch? Well, everyone's searching for the GMMK Pro on YouTube right now. Let me grab the dog. Jax, come here. So it'd be a good time to be on YouTube to answer questions. Say hello to everyone, Jackson. No? Shy? Shy per usual? When I'm partnered, I can stream on YouTube when it's not a dual stream. Because technically when you're an affiliate, you can't dual stream either. So the affiliate agreement, it's a little sus because of these restrictions. What's up, Daniel Matthew James? I should probably move this here. Alright, I'm gonna put this window right here so I can see it. Cool. Yeah, it's a simultaneous stream, which sucks because like any other platform, you can dual stream to your heart's content. But with the Twitch, they say, "Whoopish! You are ours now." So dredging. I appreciate all the engagement on the comments. I don't think you tweet me, but I appreciate you always coming back. So welcome everybody. I know most of you are probably watching Garces because he is kind of a god right now. 100k subs. Everyone's kind of a god. Everyone's growing major fast. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the toxic guy that talks shit on the GMMK Pro. So you can give me a thumbs down and leave now. Or do you want to stay and actually hear what I have to say? Hang on. Twitch slave, pretty much. Hey, she look like Twitch because I'm using OBS as well. Heard about glasses just yesterday. Where have you been? Under a rock? Hi, Mark. It is noisy. Hot toxic guy. Yo. Watch out, my fiance is gonna be listening. First time streaming on the YouTube. It's a little different. I spent literally hours trying to set up Streamlabs. I don't even have the bot. I tried to get that Streamlabs bot. It's not here. I modded it, but it didn't show up. So if you know how to do the Streamlabs bot on the YouTube, please help me. Your boy's lost. Freaking lost, dude. Looking for some honest thoughts. They're gonna be here. Comments enabled. Yes, they are. Ryan chances I'll see myself out. Kick. Blame the YouTube algorithms. They take a comedic. They have a comedic take on things. So make sure you check out like who's popular. Another person that's popular right now, dude. If YouTube shoots. I haven't seen this guy. This guy is funny as fuck. My voice sounds better on YouTube. YouTube actually has higher bit rates. I actually noticed that when I was setting up the OBS. How much does GMMK Pro cost? Well, $180 after the second deposit. Taeha called GMMK Pro good. He compared it versus a freaking Keychron. He's like, it's good compared to a Keychron. I'm like, Keychron's a different tier, my friend. technically within the same kind of customer base that would buy the GMMK Pro, but a Keychron. Can you touch your elbows with your belly button? Yo, we trying to start like that right now? All right, I'll start. I'll do it. I'll do it. I held my breath and I can't. My face is red now. I was flexing too hard. Oh. The veins are popping everywhere. Fuck. It's like a pre-order, so it's not like a GBE where you wait 6 months, but they are delayed right now for the batch 1. Frank compared it to Tofu65. Ooh, I heard a pop. I felt a pop, JG. Soda's strong guy. I'm happy to be here though. It's like the morning. It's not morning, but it's early. Hey Foss, what time is it already at? You said it's 9 o'clock. I think its main competitor is ID80, but that's an integrated plate. Yes, I agree. Cause like, if you look right here, there's a 60% keyboard. I'll pull out the KBD67 lite so we can get a good base. I think its true competitors. This is a Tofu. My bad. Sabose? Who's Sabose? What's up? Is there competition for in-stock boards at this price range? In stock. When we think of in stock, we think of the Savage 65 and the Brutal 60, in which case they are like a little bit more expensive. How much is Brutal 60 with PCB, chat? They are so good, judging. I'm pulling them out right now. Is that some cafe soda? I mixed cafe soda with some espresso. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. I just went up. I woke up, worked out, and then I just went straight to work. I know. You guys think I'm fucking capping when I say I'm working. I am working. I was setting up this stream. I was doing research on things. I was editing videos. I put up a sound test. I'll make the sound test live after the stream. Yeah, so Juby's not a competitor. Juby is a different board. Honestly, I feel like Juby may be as hollow or more hollow than the GMMK Pro, but it's a very different board. It is work, but people think I'm capping. They're like, oh, work? Your work is so hard. I'm like, bro, I haven't really stopped all morning. Ikki or GMMK Pro. So here, you notice these, right? The top row is just a num row. So, chat. What games actually use F keys? Because I know there's a few games that do. And if you're a gamer that needs F keys, you're kind of stuck. Because I did do, like, I played Guild Wars 2 where I had like an F row for skills. I had to hold Alt and then hit numbers. And yo, when you're trying to hit those chained and those combos in games, if you like mispress and you forget to hit Alt or something, you might get wrecked. That matters. This is R2, yes. Did I fix the gap on the Ikki68? I don't think I ever went back to try and fix it. Yeah, there's still a gap here. I just haven't had a chance. As soon as I built it, I kind of left it down. The Leaf 65 looks so good. How much is that? How much is Leaf 65? 15 key form factor. I like a 60. So this is what 60 looks like. So you cut this out, 60, and standard layout 60 is actually my favorite, which enthusiasts will hate. Enthusiasts don't like standard layout. The reason I like standard layout is I can change the entire layer to a key map that has this as arrows. So my shift becomes up arrow, alt becomes left, the win key becomes down, and the right control becomes right. This way, if I need arrows for a certain task, and I'm not gonna be typing a lot, like typing like this, I can just do arrows. So in Adobe Premiere, I'm not really typing things. So I can swap over to that layer and I get that. If I have a win keyless keyboard, there's no win key, right? You don't have your down arrow. OA switches are tangies? OA switches are tangies. I feel like tangies have better character. We did. Dylan, sorry. Pretty sure YouTube doesn't have the integration like Twitch on mobile. We are on YouTube right now. Do you not see the website? But yeah, my favorite form factor is the 60% because it's small. Because I work on my desk, building and all that, I need to be able to fit. You see my two speakers right here, right? This board barely fits in between, but a 60 fits in nicely. Have I tried the OP Black switches? I haven't had a chance to lube them. We're not Twitching today. My Twitch schedule is still Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. But for the extra streams, I'll add them on YouTube. Just want to test this out today. I hate 60 win kills for the open space, just really overlaps Z and right shift. 60 win kills for the open space, Z and right shift. Oh, like below the key? Yeah, I feel you. I can't dual stream on Twitch. That's one of the restrictions of affiliate and partner. Are desk mat good mouse pads? If you're like a pro FPS player, you're gonna want a custom desk mat or something else. When I did my Val stream, I did use a Ben. Was it a Zowie or Ben Q something? Eric, help me out, man. What mat was I using on that Val stream? Tray mount's fine. Tray mount, as long as you fill the bottom. So tray mount, if you get some kind of case foam like the Tofu65. Well, here, let's do some sound tests before we get into the GMMK Pro reactions. Alright. Because I do have a Tofu65 that is tray mount here, and we can compare them. The Zowie, there we go. So if you watched my reaction stream and you heard my kind of like light comments that they didn't send me one, dude, there's a reason why I think I am a valid reviewer for it, but I'm also not as good for business. I talk too damn much. This right here is a board you'll see a lot. It's a Tofu board, but Tofu65, so there's arrows, but this is tray mount. So there's standoffs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? There's 6 standoffs. I didn't screw in these two, and there is a case foam at the bottom. So the standoffs stick up, right? The case foam kind of makes it more even. So we're gonna listen to this real quick, and then we're gonna compare it to these two, and then now you're gonna get a good baseline for this microphone, which is the SM7B. In my recording space, sound tests do matter, but you have to have consistent testing, or you have to be able to translate sound from one reviewer to another because their sound environments may be different. We did notice this if you're in the AVA GB from Sneakbox. The sound test from Muji sounded hollow because of his table, and then he sent the board over to me and I did the sound test in my recording space. The board did not sound hollow at all. So these things you gotta keep in mind. Man will take the sales harder than the profit. Shh, dude. People were making fun of me for that title. And they did drop though. Alright. Well, this is Novelty's Creams. They're not broken in on an aluminum plate in a tofu with tray mount with case foam at the bottom, which is below the PCB and below the PCB before the case. My favorite linear for sound and feel is always inks, my friend. Inks. So that was a Tofu65. Here's Ikki68 Aurora. These are aluminum film OA switches with a PC plate, and there's a bunch of like rubber gasketing in there. So when you compare this board and the next board, are going to be comparable to the, well, this one specifically would be comparable to the GMMK Pro because of all the gasketing. Thanks, Steven. So this is a very light board. It is it's injection molded polycarbonate, which means it's a cheaper way to do polycarbonate. It's relatively light, but they have options for badges and there's options for adding an internal weight. Is YouTube music copyright DMCA stuff the same as Twitch? Yes, but YouTube has a better system that allows you to use copyrighted music as long as it's limited in use, and you just pay the royalties to the music copyright owner. But I am still using Epidemic Sound right now. So now we're gonna listen to the KBD67 Lite. This is the cheapest board of the bunch, dude. extremely light. It's like under a pound or something. It's kind of ridiculous. But give it a listen. So when the GMMK Pro was announced, these boards really weren't hot on the market just yet. So when they said that there's not a lot of other options, they were right. But now, as of March 2021, there's some heat. This is $130, this is $100, something like that. I would suggest some weight mod. Tire weights is an option. So you look at this shit and like you're like, whoa, wait. I thought there wasn't any other options. You can get this in stock from Dogikon right now. I'm gonna drop a link real quick. So let me look at my commands. I couldn't get my commands to work, so I'm gonna grab this real quick. So you can get this right now, no wait. You can get this right now, no wait. Can we pin this? We can pin this message. This is the R2. The R2 has some upgrades, like upgraded included stabs, and a different polycarbonate plate. But GMMK Pro who? Right? You listen to this and I didn't mod anything with this. I used these stock cherry stabs. I just threw in, what did I throw in here, dude? The board on top is a Juby. So I have regular JWKs in here. These are Dogikon switches, which are just orange switches similar to Mavs and Alpacas. And yeah, the R2 has a Bluetooth PCB option. So like, this is a freaking banger. Let's look at the price of this. So you look at this, like, come on, man. For almost half the price, or like $70 cheaper than the GMMK Pro. And I just threw regular switches in here. I didn't do anything crazy to it. I didn't band-aid mod, I didn't add case foam, I didn't add this, I didn't add that. I didn't mod the gasket, I didn't do a double stack gasket, I didn't do any of that. It's literally a plug and play board with every meaning of the word. Is hot swap worth it though? It's worth it if you're getting into the hobby and you just need to learn about switches. Because at the very beginning, it's really daunting. Do you notice the KBD67 bouncing when you press the backspace? I don't think it's bouncing, it's bouncing. It's not really bouncing. Yeah, but the backspace sounds hot though. It feels light, and honestly, it feels kind of cheap. Because it's so light, like I did this clip, I did this in my last stream. I was just like, I could literally fan myself with this on a hot day and it wouldn't be bad. Literally just, it's a little light. But you can't have everything. You can't have a heavy aluminum board at that price with this kind of sound. You know what I mean? What's a good plate material for linears? It depends on the linear. Inks on palm, JWK on FR4, and anything on aluminum sounds pretty good. How's the KBD67 lite so good? I don't know, dude. I'm grateful to for KBD fans for sending it over to me, for me helping out with the server. I made a lot of answered a lot of questions at the very beginning of my keyboard career, if you want to call it that. And I made a lot of guide videos for them, as including the KBD67 Lite or KBD67 Mark II guide video. So let me clean up my. I can leave this here. We'll turn on this music and we're gonna go look at the reviews now. Yeah, I don't have the bump-ons on. Someone suggested don't use the bump-ons, so it's kind of sliding. I'm probably not gonna do any weight mods. I just don't care that enough. All right, so what are we doing? Looking at reviews. I need y'all to check the audio, listen to the audio for me. I'm not monitoring it. Let me know if I need to boost anything. So I'm gonna swap over. The gaskets will, it's on the Ikki68 they're using silicone gaskets and it affects both sound and feel. Bluffy, I only think so for if you're looking for thock. The problem with the KBD67 Lite is if you are looking for the clack of the switch, it might mask it. Nice, David Ofu. I am from the United States. If I were Canadian, I'd probably be nicer about the GMMK Pro. All right, we're gonna start with my man, RFP, the person that got me into the hobby with his Grid 600 video. I do usually stream on Twitch, but hey, right now I'm a full-time content creator. I gotta expand my horizons and take over every avenue. Just kidding. I just figured it'd be a good. I took the suggestion from Nick as well as JMFC that I should probably do on YouTube. So I spent the last 2 hours getting this set up. YouTube stream pretty pug. It's something different. I'm gonna turn down the music.
Alright, what's up guys? I'm randomfrankp, and today's video is probably one of the biggest
How's the audio?
in recent memory. Lots of hype behind this one. We're gonna be reviewing and building the brand.
And biết nói tiếng Việt, ok, không có hay lắm. Hôm nay muốn coi mấy cái phim review của mấy cái keyboard. Hôm nay là GMMK Pro. Mấy người này không có thích Andy. Andy hỗn quá, nó không thích. Got it.
We got a lot to go over, so sit tight, grab another cup of coffee, and let's get into it. So first up, this 70.
Echo. So what is causing an echo? ME1. Let me see what's going on. Desktop speakers. Let's do this. Should I use headphones? Random Frank chill. Nice, Jacob. Alright, so I'm gonna play this again. Let's see.
25% form factor probably isn't what you're used to seeing if you're not involved in the custom keyboard community, but it's essentially a smaller version of the fan favorite TKL size keyboards. And as I said, we have both their black slate and white ice units to show off.
If it's going into my mic, headphones. It's better? Oh. If it's fine.
In all its glory. And as a bare bones kit, they call it, it comes fully assembled for you out of the box. So you don't need to build it from like the plate and PCB and all that. All you need to finish it off is to buy your own choice of switches and a keycap set. It comes with a rotary knob encoder in the top right, which is great for volume control, zooming in and out, or scrubbing timeline. It's all programmable. These are fully swappable, by the way. You can just pop them out. And they sell 3 different colors with black, white, and a brass. And they're only $9.99 each. We have their own lubed goat stabilizers already installed.
Goat stabilizers.
I'm
ready.
And the color matching gasket mount hot swap
they did the
PCB
Bella.
for both units supports 5-pin
Bella
switches
was
in
their
the south-facing orientation,
it didn't really hit though.
which means there won't be any interference issues with certain keycap sets, and you can pretty much use any switch you want, because with the 5-pin slots, it'll support a 3-pin switch, obviously. Build-wise, the GMMK Pro is a chunk. It weighs 3.3 pounds out of the box from its CNC aluminum body. It also comes stock with an aluminum plate inside, although you can choose to buy either brass or polycarbonate plates as well. You have the glorious typeface.
Man, come on, RFP, you overexposed the board. I will also be reviewing videography today for people that are interested in starting making videos on YouTube. I don't want to just sit here and we're going to be hearing a lot of the same stuff from the reviewers. Yeah, BT bricked his. The Goat Stabilizer is just a very awkward name. And unfortunately, because they called it the greatest of all time, and when he missed the mark, it's just an awkward situation.
Face engraved on the bottom of the keyboard, 4 rubber pads in each corner, and there are no flip-out feet on the
Echo's
bottom.
noticeable.
With the back
all right. Let me get the headphones on. I don't want to ruin this for you because we got a lot of reviews. Okay. 1 second, chat. Give me a second. I gotta use my Go XLR prowess now. Hold on. Here we go. Give me a second. Broadcast stream mix. Cool.
back is angled at a 6-degree angle. And man, just both super nice and clean. When I first unboxed it, I was blown away at the quality and the heft of the keyboard. So I am going to be dropping an additional giant unboxing video, going over every single accessory they offer for this keyboard. That'll probably be tomorrow or sometime this week probably. But as you see, I have this connected with a
Echo? What? Oh, I know why. I fixed it.
USB-C cable. They do offer these and sell them.
This should
Stock in the box does come with a regular USB-C cable, but you can pick up your very own because Glorious is making colored 5-pin aviator connector cables. So the fact that they have these and they're actually offering different colors as well, I think is awesome. But yeah, so obviously
double audio? Hold on. Wait, it's good? Oh, okay, it's good.
Means the cable is removable here. It's recessed on the back side, seated nicely in the middle. Then before we start the build, just a few more notes. The frame is high profile, so the switches are seated into the frame so they're not exposed on the sides. In addition to the vibrant RGB, we also have side lighting to add some extra glow on your desktop.
Not gonna lie, side lighting is really nice. I like the side lighting. On the duck boards, the Orions and stuff, the side lighting is really nice. People are trolling now.
And again, just the fact that they give us color matching PCBs to the case just really proves they're really paying attention to the aesthetic details here. They very easily could have made just one PCB and used them in both colors, but no, color matching. All right, next up, we're gonna fully build up our black unit.
Wait, they color match a PCB to the board? That's cool, right? We think that's cool, right, chat? I don't care, but it's a thing because the plate's gonna cover it, right?
Unit, go through all that, and then disassemble the white unit to show you, what's inside if you want to take a deeper dive into customizing your keyboard. Okay, so for my switches here, just out of ease for this build, I'm going with their own Glorious Panda switches. These, however, are...
Oh, I know why there's the delay, because I synced the mic to my mouth, but now that I push the broadcast stream mix through the mic, I can fix this.
Lubed with after this video. G-Lube out of the box, and surprisingly, they feel and sound really good for a factory lube
the white
job.
And silver is kind of...
So much so to the point where I didn't even feel the need to take them apart and lube them myself.
On another day,
if you guys saw a few weeks back, I did lube my own Panda switches for the Rama card
I don't care about
build,
the PCB color.
And no lie, these feel right on par. I'm very impressed. Like, that's stock. That's a really good factory lube job. With it being a 75%...
So when you compare factory lube, usually when there's factory lube, it will be smooth, but you have to compare consistency, right? Consistency is the important thing. And so you need to open up all of them and see if it's consistent across them, because you can have one good one, but if you have a bad one next to it, then you're going to have to take it off or kind of lube over them. And that's where you need to pay attention to.
Keyboard, we need 83 switches in total, and these are tactile switches, so paired with that default aluminum plate inside, we're still gonna feel that tactility real nice.
To be fair, there was spring and leaf noise in the Boba U4 Thok as well, and that's a switch we have deemed as a community that's very good. That's what I built at the Cocoa last Saturday I think. So with tactiles, that kind of leaf ping does exist, but I would trust a Boba U4 Thok over a Glorious Panda. That's probably leaf, not spring. Okay, yeah.
Nicely, but it's gonna be a smoother stroke than a nice bump one.
Another thing is we're gonna watch these at 1.2x speed. 1.25. We have to. We're gonna hear the same specs. Is everyone okay with that? If you're in Zoom classes, you know how it is. You'll bust through these with a fast speed. What's up, Alex? Hey, Alex, I'm trying to be more like you. Trying to smile more and be nicer. I also can't grow your stash though, so that's something that's all you, brother, all you. I just absolutely can't.
The stem is palm and the housing is nylon.
Does it look like this man can grow a stash? Nah, absolutely nah.
And even though I'm team linear, these make a hell of an argument for a transition. And again, since the PCB is hot swap and south facing, it's as easy as Legos, just popping them in and make sure the pins are straight. Legos. And the LED cutout in the housing of the switch still allows for some RGB to shine up through the switch itself.
That's a valid concern beginners don't understand. They always ask me, will the switch work with RGB? Yes, as long as it's north facing, the proper orientation, the RGB will go to that little hole.
Back to their screw-in stabilizers, it's their GOAT stabilizers they call them, with a completely transparent stem and housing, and also they're factory lubed. And they definitely...
Wait, is that the factory lube? Is that the factory lube on the GOAT stabilizers? Chat, that's pretty good. There's some on the wire, right? When you go faster, extend is like X1.
Applied
well, I pressed the button by accident.
Generous amount, as you can
Stop
see.
double clicking.
So we're gonna see how these hold up during our sound test.
I can't tell. It just looks all white in there. Factory lube with G lube. Is G lube at 205G0?
But yeah,
they're not dried up old ladies. They're good.
That's a valid point, Sean. Like the reviewers might get one where they took a little more effort or went back to the stabilizer, because we know the NK65EE, the factory lube stabs. I think they did the wire, but not the housing.
To go.
Now for the finishing touch, Glorious is also selling their own sets of colored PBT keycaps called GPBT. And in fact, they have 7 different colored sets here.
Everything's
from a colored
G,
gradient
bro.
to solid colors.
What's up?
The
What's
entire
up, Jeremy?
114 key set only costs $50.
Yo,
which I think
guys,
is
if you're
super
trying to do home
competitive and a hell of a
workouts
deal,
without equipment,
especially
check
when you
out
look
my
at how
boy
much
Jeremy.
the typical GMK sets kind of start at like,
Can you click his profile on here, dude?
And obviously with it being a traditional keycap set, they're compatible with pretty much any keyboard you have. So you can put them on your 60, your full size, TKL, whatever you currently use. And obviously y'all know what it is, but I'm going to be going with that Rainforest set with that nice gradient of a darker to a light steel color. I think that splash of color on the all black makes it pop really nicely.
I show from my friends,
result,
fam.
when talking visuals, whew, looks killer. And in terms of RGB, it's not too much of a
He
distracting
also
in the slightest,
he took the
because
route to
head-on,
do like
you can barely see it,
entrepreneurship
since the
before I
light is
did.
already being diffused through our switches, and the keycaps aren't.
So let's look at these keycaps, because these hurt me. These absolutely hurt me. Opinion. All right, make sure. Yeah, gotta remember there's an opinion. I'm not gonna make the mistake of cutting my opinion short without the background information. Cause that last stream, man, fuck, that stream reaction, like cut up video, I got destroyed. Alright, so let's look at these legends. I'm really tripping up about the fact that everything's shifted to the right over here. Streamlabs is timing people. Hey, the mod's here then. Did the mod finally join? Yeah. Try not to swear. Try to minimize the swearing. That's what's happening. I can like, our mods can allow it, but on YouTube is a little different. YouTube, too much swearing will bring me down.
Shine through. The only time you're really gonna see the art.
Yeah, so there's no shine through on these, but I really do not like because these are centered, right? I guess for symmetry, the left mods are shifted to the left, and then the right mods are aligned to the right. But this kills me. This right here kills me because Ascend is like less than half the keycap. The colors make it look uneven. It kind of makes it worse. I think it's an alignment. No swear. It's YouTube.
RGB
nice.
is like from a side angle, and you have that additional sharpening left and right. But absolutely no complaints here, because what I usually do anyways is keep it a static color.
My hair's messed up right
so
here,
inside
man.
the software, which we'll talk about in a little bit, we can match that up to the keycaps. And
here's a close up. It looks like there is some kind of texture on the PBT. Also, I'm not salty I didn't get the GMMK Pro. I will get one for review from the first run. Wait, is this not centered? Enhance. Well, I can't enhance. Actually, that made everything worse. Revert. That didn't do anything. You can't enhance a video.
nice teal. But if you do want some crazy RGB,
so I like this color. I don't like this color. This is more like a forest green. This is like a teal, like cyan.
hang tight. I got you covered with that white build coming up
yeah,
next.
Manic.
And just like that, the black unit's all wrapped up. Again, all you need to buy is a keycap set and switches to fully, customize and finish off the build. So
to be fair, having switch or keycaps included is really nice, because when I bought the KBD67 Lite, I was like, all right, how do I get keycaps now? And I ended up getting the GMK Red Sam, and I bought the 65% kit, which screwed me when I got a TKO. And I was lucky I was able to sell both, but having to chase down keycaps after is a pain.
Super simple. We'll do
Look at the delete keycap.
sound test in a minute, don't worry. We still have to take apart
Well,
and build
when
the
it comes out
whiteboard. Then we'll get to my overall, experience and pros and cons of the keyboard still. All right, so
Inconsistent
taking it apart
legends,
is relatively
that's
straightforward.
unfortunate.
Again, I'm sure most people who aren't familiar with custom keyboards may not have used a
So you know how this is getting blown out? I deal with this the same thing. So what's happening right here is his light is on the upper left. So for me, when I stream, it's actually right here. So when I get closer to the light, it gets blown out like this. See? It's just a kind of non-central lighting scenario. But if you have it on one side, it actually helps the kind of interest, so it's not just flat lighting. Just a note for anyone trying to make videos and stuff.
A gasket mount keyboard in the past, but it's not complicated. Taking it apart underneath are 8 screws in total that are keeping the top and bottom frame together. Once they're all out, just pop out that rotary knob. You can easily just take off that top plate.
Wait, so the rotary knob isn't screwed in? How's it staying in place? It has to be screwed in. I think every rotary knob I've encountered is screwed in with a little tiny screw.
Then inside you have the aluminum frame and PCB
Jeans are white and
together.
black, yeah.
But to my surprise, there's a bit more going on. So inside, underneath the PCB, they actually have a custom...
That PCB looks like an old mattress, or that foam looks like an old mattress. Help by friction? Ooh. Okay, if you ever buy this or sell this, tape that shit down. Oh, I can't swear. Tape that stuff down, because if that falls off in shipping, it's gonna scratch your entire board up. All right, or take it off, package it up separately.
Cut layer of dampening foam, which is to cut down on that resonance.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Yo, they got a daughter board cable. That's actually kind of surprising. Held by Faith. I didn't cop GMK Hennessy. I don't need any more keycap sets. Family friendly string. Naughty swearing boy. Oh, sorry. At least it's not some like random tray mount, top mount combo. We're doing it on YouTube just because there's gonna be a lot of people searching on YouTube, fam. Wait, Alex's was glued on? Wait, that sucks if it's glued on. I wouldn't want it glued on.
When you're typing, since the block of aluminum is hollowed out inside to fit these components.
Okay, so I watched part of Glars's stream, right? He talked about how it was compressed to hell. You can see here, you do not want foam. You don't not want your hot sauce sockets to be sandwiched into your foam. This is why the KBD67 case foam has holes for the hot sauce sockets. Durex L7 linears are just like any other JWK. They're pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna try to get thick box switches right now. What's dropping? Commentate and Marshmallow or something? Yeah, so this compression's not good because if it's compressing this hard, okay, if it's a hot swap PCB, you typically just want either thinner or foam that has holes in it. But this is getting compressed pretty freaking hard. You can look right, you can see right here, there's a freaking shadow. So that's tight, boy.
This pad's going to help keep any micro vibrations to a minimum as it gets absorbed here with this layer. Then you can see for the bottom housing of that CNC block, we have the cutout for the USB-C daughter board and a channel to route the cable which powers the PCB. Now holding the plate and PCB together are 2 top screws and posts.
It's compressed,
once these are removed, there are then 12 additional screws underneath the PCB which holds that and the aluminum plate together even more. And again, to my surprise, another layer of foam sandwiched between these two. Now since I want to swap out the default aluminum plate with a polycarbonate plate, which by the way only costs an additional $19.99 if you want to pick one up as well. You first have to reapply the side LED diffusers. They have these cutouts on the side, so they just pop into place.
That's pretty fair price for a polycarbonate.
Then you just line up your PCB so the stabilizers slide down through the plate, and then remount those 12 screws to hold it all down. And real quick, just to point out, I'm opting not to use that sandwich foam layer between the polycarbonate plate, but obviously you can choose to do so if you wish. Next step is plugging back in that tiny 4-pin cable, but do make sure underneath that foam and that channel cutout, it's moved through.
Was there only one screw for the daughter board? Yeah, there's just one fat boy. So it's gonna rotate. That's definitely gonna feel cheap. Your USB-C is gonna wiggle.
Which is to be as well. The RGB is gonna look nuts on chin because the polycarbonate plate is still gonna let a lot of that.
Let's not assume they get creators get paid. This is. I do think like randomfrankp just made a video recently where he like harped on another board. So his take on this is pretty soft. It's this one, the Corsair K65 Mini. He went way harder on that board. I don't know why. We can't assume that we know what's going on in their heads. But he definitely went harder on this board if you watched it. I like watching Andy's fingers wiggle. So like this is way of a softer take.
RGB shine through.
Wait, there's just one screw and tape? They need to have 4 screws.
But it'll also like blend those colors together really, really nicely. We don't have time today to go over this entire full build for the white unit, so I'll probably save that for a third video coming up. All right, so now we'll do a sound test, roughly 45 seconds for each board. Again, for our black unit, we have the lubed Glorious Panda switches.
Tofu versus KBD67lite Ikki, I think they're all good options. Tofu65 gives you more option to mod it. If it's paid directly and he gets paid cash money, then 100%. But if it's just given a board to review, you can choose either way, I think. Because I chose not to do that, even though I got the drop enter to keep, and some of these boards I do get to keep as well. Because I don't really feel like it's payment. I don't need these boards. I'm not even going to use them. Not because they're bad, just because I just don't want more stuff in my house. Let's listen to the sound test. I'm gonna mute the music. Hey, it's fine, dude. Hi, Sneera. The leaf is wiggling. Oh, wait. We can't do this. Sorry, my bad. We can't watch the sound test at 1.2x. That's gonna fuck with the tone. 1 second. My brain just disappeared. Hold on. Yeah, let's go back to 1x speed. Oh yeah, gray. Oh yeah, all day. Spacebar's no good. That is very weird, Elijah. God, this is so bright. Passable. The 67 light smokes it. Yeah, the Glarus has touched on this. Most people that buy this are not gonna mod it. So your board, most people's boards aren't even gonna sound like RFPs. It's definitely clearly silver. You can see right here. The light is being blasted right now. You can tell from the white keycaps. Tofu60 or Tofu65, whatever layout you like more ethereal.
Okay, so finally into my 2 cents about the fully built glorious GMMK
me,
Pro keyboard.
Give it to me.
And keep in mind for this, not everybody's gonna have the same configuration, because when it comes to a bare bones kit like this, like I said before,
give it to me,
you buy the switches, you buy the keycaps. So your final build is gonna differ, but I'm taking, the keyboard.
Oh, we're talking about the delete key being squished? Yeah, the D is touching the E. Wait. Family friendly YouTube. My bad. Can't be talking about D's out here.
As a whole into consideration here for my thoughts and opinions. At the end of the day, whether you are using this for gaming, video editing, really whatever you're doing
find a board
with
at 170 that's better offering
I am
this.
super
KBD67lite.
impressed. And honestly, it starts right out of the box with the actual
Aurora.
frame itself. It's super hefty. Like I said, 3.3 pounds, built up just over 4 pounds. I primarily tested in game with my black.
But to be fair, this has a better gamer aesthetic than those 2 boards I just mentioned. And it's aluminum. So in terms of like perceived quality, having an aluminum board is going to feel better in the hand. Which is why Ducky went to do the Ducky Mecha 1, whatever. They did that aluminum case, which really didn't sound all that much better. But it's a thing.
Unit that has those tactile Glorious Panda switches, and I've had no issues whatsoever. But again, you don't have to use this for just gaming. That's the glory.
Wait, aren't you supposed to rotate it the other way for gaming? I guess you can turn it either way. Oh, that's unfortunate twisted.
Of a custom keyboard like this, especially one with this 75% form factor. You still do have those dedicated arrow keys, and you get the addition of that rotary knob, which I think is really, really cool.
Nice focus
Again,
pull.
volume control, pretty much whatever you want this to be, you can set it and program it in their software. It's honestly pretty crazy to me that these only cost $170 for the bare bones kit. And I know at first glance that might be like,
his desk looks so nice.
Like seeing that at face value, it does seem like
this
a bit more
with the triple
money
ultra wide, he's centered perfectly in it.
On a pre-built gaming keyboard out there. But in this, custom community of keyboards and stuff, 170 is super affordable and way more than fair for this. And you can compare this to the Satisfaction 75, which is a little more than double. That's over.
We can't compare it to the Sat 75 RFP. We gotta talk with the glorious people. Is this supposed to compete with the Sat 75 or not? You can't have it both ways. If you want to compete against the GB boards, then compete against GB boards. But you can't do that and also say, oh, we're actually more kind of entry level into the market type of board. If I compare it in this light, it's gonna be way different. A way different comparison versus when I compare it with a KBD67 Lite or Ikki68 Aurora. Sat 75 is not the best sounding keyboard, but a burger mount, like a larger form factor than a 65, is gonna sound better than the GMMK
$400. This 170.
Don't you have two Sat 75s?
It is just mind blowing. I really can't see
GB coming though.
Where Glorious is cutting corners.
It is definitely way more money.
The materials, it all feels.
Okay, he's talking about cutting corners. Remember when I said cut corners? People blast me. So let's see what RFP says.
Super premium and really nice. Definitely a hefty CNC aluminum block.
Heavy,
honestly blows my mind that they pulled this off for just 170. Another thing that's really cool is, yes, it's obviously compatible with their Glorious Core software, but it's also compatible if you use QMK or VIA, which are two very popular, open source softwares out there for when it comes to customizing your keyboard. So you have the option of either three, whatever you're more comfortable with. But since the average consumer might just go towards Glorious Core, I'll show you that real quick. And it's visually very simple, all laid out for you. You have the key bindings tab, which will let you go in and reassign any of the keys to be, macros and other functions.
Salt rock lamp, it's like
typical, reassigning key binding section here.
Just imagine every
gap
in the board filled with some kind of foam.
Since you have three functions of turning it up, turning it down, and then pressing in as well to actuate,
I don't know if it's VIA
you can reassign whatever you want those three actions to be. Then for the lighting tab under the presets, there are 18 different onboard RGB effects you can cycle between, both here in the software
gasket is an operative term. Garces did say
you have those onboard controls to cycle
it was more
through the
like
effects.
A buzzword because of the way they
lighting is
implemented
really,
it. It's
really
like
nice here. Again, you
rigid.
can't really see it in the black and forest screen unit, but with my white unit built
That's
up
a lot of RGB.
and that
cool.
polycarbonate plate, it gets diffused so nicely, and the RGB just looks stellar.
Definitely agree.
Effects are smooth and fluid. Looks really good. Then you have the per key tab under lighting, which will let you go in and sort of make your own effect if you want to have per key lighting for different colors. This will also let you go in and customize the side strip on each side of the keyboards. If you want that to glow a different color than your main keys or whatever,
QMK for
you got that all right here. Very, very customizable. And for performance, you can just go in and set the polling rate. So far, it's all been extremely positive.
Oh, polling rate, I want to touch upon this. I don't think, I've heard from multiple people that polling rate doesn't matter as much on keyboards because you're not constantly setting data to your computer as quickly as a mouse would. Like mouse has XY and all that other, or XY at every single point as it moves, whereas a keyboard, it's like whatever key presses. N key rollover does matter. So if you only have 3 key rollover, 4 key rollover, 5 key rollover, you can experience that in game. But in terms of polling rate, it's more of a marketing term, I think.
Positive, almost too good to be true, but there are 2 cons that I noticed and wanted to point out. First up, I kind of alluded to it earlier with their GOAT stabilizers. Definitely heavy on the lube. I really had to break in my stabilizers to get them to like not stick or fully, pop up
really
after I would actuate them. So a lot of lube in the stabilizers. And second, again, this won't even apply to you if you're not using this keycap set. But with their GPBT, I did notice that on some of the keys, the font was just kind of,
I don't play OSU, so
it didn't seem consistent
I didn't
all
know about
across.
That,
like sometimes it felt just slightly more bold. I didn't like how on some keys,
that bulk
like
in the middle
delete
distracted
and
my
print
eyes so bad.
screen, it was the full width of the key.
Thanks, RFP. Oh, dude, what did he stick in here? Did he stick? Dude, I swear, he's probably using the Gateron switch puller. That is like 6 inches off the board. Okay, so it's just a high level rhythm game. Okay, I take that back, chat. High level rhythm games like Osu, it matters. But only if you're top tier. Just like how I don't need a 360 hertz monitor to get better at Val because I'm trash.
I do realize that's kind of common on most keycap sets, but here it was definitely too close to the edge for my liking in terms of, you know, that visual aesthetic. Now I understand when it comes to a keycap set, the average gamer out there is probably going to want like some sort of shine-through keycaps, so these probably
YouTube,
won't be
Joel.
for you.
You kind of have to.
If you want to throw on some pudding keycaps, I can only imagine it would look pretty crazy on these. But yeah.
So, does he get a ref link? Dude, we need to make sure Alex leaves before we react to his video. I'm just kidding. I have to be nice today. I am being as impartial as I can be. There are things I definitely don't agree with and I don't care about, like the color of the PCB, but that's just a preference thing. So he doesn't have a link, so he's not driven. He's not really driven to say nice things, so you buy the board through him.
Bringing it all together, what Glorious is doing for 170 is honestly remarkable.
Definitely agree.
And we kind of saw this when they released the lightweight $50
Savage.
Model O.
Savage is gonna get canceled off of YouTube. I can't do this.
The entire trend
I cannot do this.
of the lightweight gaming mouse market out there for the better.
Because the reality is people are just gonna go to like different clips and be like, he said this.
And it's all because of Glorious. So with them putting out a fully customizable keyboard like this, a kit that you can add on to and fully build up for an extremely budget-friendly price of $170. Again, it might seem like a lot to you at first, but $170 for a custom keyboard like this is absolutely fantastic. I cannot be more impressed with what Glorious is doing here with the GMMK Pro and this like contender for one of the greatest keyboard kits at that price of all time. So like I said, I still have a giant unboxing video
until I have to 1v1 him in a typing test. I'm not gonna be.
Trust me,
but in that 1v1 typing test versus alexotos,
the accessories they offer for this keyboard.
I'm gonna be so mean.
If you want to go for a real classy look, they also sell a brass plate, so you could swap that out. All black case, get all black keycaps. Also swap out the rotary knob, get a brass one here as well. I think that would look really nice and classy.
Oh, it's snap. I heard that snap. Yeah. It feels like a ball bearing.
Yeah, tons of stuff to unbox and go over in that giant unboxing video. And again, if you're interested and you want to see the actual build video on this Ice White unit, which looks super, super clean. Love the custom keycaps here.
I'm just glad it got into a lot of people's hands.
Crazy smooth and linear.
So you can take the average of different reviewers.
Switches. Those are
if you can beat 75 WM, you beat me.
I've ever tried so
it's
far.
Funny when I do my slow typing test.
Let me know.
The slowest I can go is like if I literally stop typing between words, I can hit 70.
If you want to check it out, I'll try to put everything.
All not a flex. I just can't type any slower than that.
Are still going on. So if you want to pick this up, down below in the description for you.
One hand.
If you like this video, give it a big thumbs.
Not gonna lie, I actually practice a lot with one hand typing. Wait, that sounds weird. That sounds like I'm revealing too much. It's because I broke my hand. Right, because I only had my left hand. All right, next video. So that review gave us a good overview. He did seem like he went lighter on the board than he did on the last video, which I watched. So just keep in mind what he said. The legends were kind of rough. I really didn't like the foam being so tight. Switching in PC and not using the plate foam was probably a better choice. Spacebar still sounds bad. He got overloop stabs, so I don't know if they were trying to like make his extra lubed. You can overloop stabs, and I don't know if the people at Glorious would know that. Broke my hand from beating too much. Come on. Get them 4 hours pumped. guys, stop it. Is my music even playing? Music hella low. Now we just did RP, so let's pop over to the next one. All right. I heard Taeha's was pretty damn good, so let's start Taeha's right now. The punctuation's gonna drop. Punctuation would drop me so bad.
Hello, I'm Taeha, and today we're going to...
One more time. One more time.
Hello, I'm
I thought he said, whoa.
Taeha, and today we're going to take a look at this.
This guy's production quality is 290, dude.
A keyboard that's taken the community somewhat by storm, and one that I personally think signals the start of a new arc for the mechanical keyboards hobby. Be transparent, Glorious did send out the products for me to keep, but no money was exchanged. They didn't force me to say anything, and they didn't get to review the video before it went live.
Good ethics
They're watching it for
statement.
the first time just like everyone else. With that out of the way, let's unbox this. Glorious has kept the packaging pretty consistent with all their other products, no surprise here. We're greeted with a business card
We're
first.
1.25x speed again.
Make sure to check out their quick start guide, especially if you're new. Then underneath we have the keyboard, and they include basic accessories like a USB-C cable, switch and keycap puller, and some extra gasket strips. Alright, so this is the GMMK Pro. It's generated quite the buzz as it's the first mechanical
type
keyboard from
right
a
here.
decently well-known gaming company.
Lego Robert
to
reviews
truly take
GMMK
cues
Pro.
from the modern enthusiast mechanical keyboard scene. And they package all that into a retail price of $169.99. Now you might have noticed in the unboxing that the keyboard has no switches or keycaps.
Taeha outfit look like
You
he
will need to
won Rob
purchase
Bang.
and install switches and keycaps separately. This might come off as a shocker to people new to the scene.
Those lights
but
behind
this
him
is
cost
quite
a
normal
fortune.
once you start purchasing enthusiast level keyboard kits. So what does $169.99 get you then?
Help me get some nan
Well, it
lights
gets
so
you
I
all
can
the
keep up
trending
with Taeha.
buzzwords.
They're
The
not
GMMK Pro
as
is a
expensive
hot
as his, but
swappable 75% gasket
consider donating.
mounted high profile keyboard
I'm
with a
dropping a link
knob.
for it.
Oh, and of course it also has sound dampening foam, one between the PCB and plate and one underneath the PCB. Okay, all memes aside, this keyboard,
please send money.
it's actually quite good. That's my verdict if you don't want to watch the entire video. I hate to admit it, but it's a very nice keyboard for its price range, and it just might outclass other keyboards in similar categories.
Does it?
Now, of course, it's not perfect, and that's to be expected, as there are some things that I don't like about it, so hopefully you watch the whole video, and make sure
He
to
didn't even say
subscribe to the
anything yet,
channel
though. He
and
just said it
turn on
sounds
the
pretty good.
notification bell
I'll
to be
repeat it for
notified of future videos like this. The GMMK Pro features a 75% layout with a knob. If you've seen my streams at all, I stream every Tuesdays and Wednesdays over at Twitch. You should already know that I'm personally not a fan of this kind of layout. I generally don't like knobs on my keyboards as I don't have a need for them, but I probably am in the
Camera work
minority
any good?
as it's quickly
Fuck, this
becoming a
camera work is too
popular
nutty.
feature on custom mechanical keyboards. For me, most
full
75% layouts
4K?
don't rank high for aesthetics, but there's no denying it is a nice mix between compactness and preserving functionality, which I think is important considering the market this keyboard is trying to capture. The knob on the GMMK Pro is nice. The detents are definitely noticeable. You can feel the stepping as you
moisturizes
turn
his
the knob,
fingers.
which provides a subtle but evident feedback. It does wiggle a bit as the knob is only secured via friction to the rotary
5.6 for
encoder,
2 fam.
but during my 3 weeks of testing, I found this to
Yeah, I
be a
think he has
non-issue
a
for
more
real-world
expensive one.
usage. As the knob is not actually screwed onto the rotary encoder, this makes interchanging it with the other knobs you can
You
purchase
got,
from
like,
Glorious fairly simple.
the wax
In terms of
bottoms.
machining, all the outer edges have been filleted and it feels nice to the touch.
Look at that
The
slider
word
shot,
Glorious
bro.
is engraved on the bottom. The USB port cutout is pretty spot on.
In British
The
knob
knob
is
the
something
side
else.
acrylic piece and the cutout has no leaks, but I did notice that some of the machining did look rough around certain areas. The anodization
Valid
is decent,
concern.
but on my unit there were some light streaking and inconsistent spots here and there. Now the GMMK Pro comes in 2 colorways, white ice and black slate. Definitely an ambitious mistake on Glorious's end to call their anodized board white ice. It's more like silver.
Yeah,
the machining
definitely.
and anodization
I
quality
wouldn't
on the
use an
GMMK Pro
orange
isn't going to blow you away.
fill
but it's
light,
more than decent and acceptable.
he's
I think,
already
from a product
orange.
at this price point.
So you want something
Unscrewing the 8
contrasting,
Phillips
in my
screws, which are
opinion, I
easily
would use a
accessible
cooler
from the
light
bottom, open up the internals.
to make him pop more from
I'm
the
happy to
background.
see that this time around they have not only oriented the switch pinhole so that they are south facing,
'Cause
but
now
have
it's
also
just,
added
like,
5-pin
black
switch
and
compatibility
orange.
to the PCB.
Having
Meaning you
a
no longer have to
contrasting
clip
blue
your
would be
switches.
better.
At the moment, the
But it's a
PCB is
preference
limited to ANSI only, but an ISO version is coming later this year. Like the popular GMMK line of keyboards, the GMMK
No, if you are getting Ikki68 Aurora, you can actually do ISO right now, hot swap. You can have, there's a bunch of options. There's a bunch of options with the sockets right here. And there were concerns that, and some of them are like side facing and stuff for the switches, but you can already do, you can even do split space bar down here. So if you want ISO today, Ikki68 Aurora. Alright, I'll lower the video. I think you want the lights to match the wall better.
Pro only offers a hot swappable PCB, and it comes with their proprietary Glorious hot swap sockets. which
True,
from what I
Austin,
can tell,
true.
don't seem functionally superior to other existing hot swap sockets at the moment.
He definitely
Other
doesn't
than the
always
fact
look
that
like a
the Glorious
rubber.
sockets are orientation agnostic in terms of installation during manufacturing. The PCB is QMK compatible out of the box, and at the time of making this video, I do see the GM.
Yeah, so if you're getting the Glorious board, you're probably not going to QMK. I don't even use QMK. If it's not a QMK configurator, I just can't do it. I'm too dumb.
QMK Pro in the QMK GitHub repo. Glorious has additionally stated they intend to make it VIA compatible as well later
Yeah,
down the
with
line.
too many
We'll see how
options,
that turns out.
Barack, but
For
that's
anyone
what happens when you
who's
have
purchased the
full
first batches of this
compatibility.
keyboard, there will be a required firmware update which needs to be done via the Glorious Core, a unified software that Glorious intends to use for all their products moving forward. I was only able to play around with a pre-release version before making the video, and it works okay. The software
okay.
is fairly intuitive to use with about all
So he said it worked okay, but I watched BT's video and BT said it bricked. Quite different experiences.
the basic functionality you would want from a keyboard remapping program.
What's going on with the volume on the video?
From
Did I drop it too
LED
much?
colors, remapping your keys, and recording macros. The only real complaint I had was that currently you have to save each edit individually. You can't remap several switches at once, then click save for all those changes to propagate.
That sucks.
If you do this, only the most recent change you made goes through. I have notified Glorious of this, and I've been told this is being worked on, but it seems like a fairly basic feature that should have been included.
How's volume chat?
By default, the GMMK Pro comes with an aluminum plate, but you do have the
Damn, they kitted him out, bro. Yeah, that's like the brass, PC, and aluminum. Jeez.
option of purchasing a brass
Yeah, we can see the foam over here also compressed the hell.
or polycarbonate plate. Now, traditionally, hot swap builds secure the PCB to the plate via standoffs located at various points spread across the entire PCB and plate. On the GMMK Pro, however, there are 2 big standoffs towards the middle, and then around the outer edge, 12 points where the PCB is screwed onto the plate.
Oh yeah,
Based off the shape of the mounting.
Yeah, let me turn my music on. Let me fix the audio. So discuss amongst yourselves what we've learned so far. I think it's still okay. Yeah, let me do an audio input capture. Okay, stream mix. 1 second, chat. Mic, stream mix.
holes for the PCB on the plate, as well as how some of the cutouts look. I did confirm with the folks over at Glorious that these plates are created via a tool punch, as opposed to CNC machine switch plates, like you might see on more premium boards. I assume this is also why my aluminum and brass plate looks rough.
I got it. Mic, stream mix. How about now? Does my mic work? We're gonna start with just my voice. Can you hear my voice? Today ain't a good day. It's the first time going on YouTube, man. Give me a break. Taeha squared. Am I still muted? Okay. Now my voice is good. Hopefully when I play the video, it doesn't just completely destroy. Okay, let me say something. Broadcast stream mix. Take system. Yeah. Please don't echo.
Around the edges, but this is mostly visual. They are perfectly fine to touch. Of course, this PCB supports full perky RGB and also has some side glow, which I kind of like the execution of design-wise. On either side of the PCB, there's a column of LEDs that illuminate upwards like all the other perky RGB lighting.
Okay.
Above these LEDs, but underneath the plate, rests a piece of acrylic that has an angled edge flagged with some kind of opaque white material to help direct the light up and outwards to the sides. This light is then diffused through a second piece of
regarding BT's like issue, right? They've already done mice, which have updates. So how did they drop the ball on the updates for the keyboard? The keyboard update should be much easier. Why do they even need a firmware update? I'm confused.
Acrylic, the one that's actually visible from the outside, which is
Just
screwed onto the top
confused.
piece. I'm not super in love with how the side glow looks overall as an aesthetic choice on this keyboard.
You know what? I disagree with you, Taeha. I love side glow RGB. But I don't want to fight a bank warper. I might lose.
But it is nice to see no dead zones, and this double diffusion provides for a nice even glow. One thing to note, if you do go with the acrylic plate, you'll have quite a bit of light leak through the plate itself. The side glow also has an added functionality of being the caps lock indicator. It will blink whenever caps lock is enabled, but this is more of a gimmick in my opinion, especially
I
for
wouldn't
some
use
of the
that.
types. Taking a look at the bottom piece of the board, other than the gasket mounting tabs, it's got 2 guiding posts near where the rotary encoder is for when assembling the board together, a cutout for the daughter board,
Hey, at
and
least
a cable routing channel for the GST connector.
I try to pause my OBS screen. At least the length is proper. On the Sakabato I built, which is a custom, the length was too long. I had to like compress it in there. It made it really hard to close.
The daughter board is secured
they
with
do,
a single
Edward?
screw in the center, which I found a bit odd, as most I've seen are usually screwed with 4
Taylor's
screws in
Andy
the corner.
UFC
There's also
style,
a yellow
RGB
strip
versus
under the
no
daughter
RGB.
board, which I thought was for
I did
adhesive
1v1
purposes
him.
initially, but Glorious
I did 1v1 him in sorry, I talked over this. I did 1v1 him in a typing contest and he won.
daughter board, which I thought was for adhesive purposes initially, but
Oh, here's a close-up. It is just one screw. And I guess it's for ESD, but the tape will keep it together, but that tape's going to move.
Glorious informed me, and I quote, that it's for installation to help provide additional protection against accidental electric conduction. Oddly enough, the daughter board doesn't rest parallel to the bottom. It's angled upwards. It's only a very slight angling, however, so I'm not too worried about the longevity of my cables or the USB-C port, but given Glorious went through the trouble of designing around the daughter board, it would have been nice.
He's using a teleprompter. So, look at his eyes.
It would have been nice to see them take the extra step. I do appreciate the inclusion of a cable routing channel. It would have been nice to see them take the extra step. I do appreciate the inclusion of a USB-C port, but given Glorious went through the trouble of designing around the daughter board, it would have been nice to see them take the extra step. I do appreciate the inclusion of a cable routing channel.
It's just a small thing. Only a nerd like me would notice.
So that it actually keeps the cable tight in the channel. That should just about cover the construction of the keyboard. Let's not talk about how this keyboard feels. I will preface by saying that my preference is towards a softer bottom-out experience. I've been especially liking a bit of bounce to my typing lately.
I script my videos too.
With the default aluminum,
I bought a teleprompter recently,
firm,
so
but it's a good kind of firm. It definitely.
He says a good kind of firm. Garcia says it was too damn stiff. Yeah, I bought a teleprompter too, so I have to work on not having my eyes dart, because that's a telltale sign of teleprompters. They overall save time though. How do I see that? It's because I'm a videographer, dude. Andy Wiednergen.
It doesn't feel like the harsh tray mount kind of firm you get with most other off-the-shelf keyboards.
I've been doing
As the
video
plate
for a
has no
minute.
flex cuts, and combined with the default 12 gasket tabs, 2 of which are on the side, which in my opinion are unnecessary for a gasket mounted board, the typing experience is a good level of stiff for people who enjoy a firmer bottom out. If you prefer an even firmer and harder bottoming out experience, then my recommendation is to get the brass plate.
True.
But in terms of typing experience, I do like the polycarbonate plate the best for this board. The increase in softness of the bottom out should be noticeable, even to people new to the hobby, so I think that speaks volumes for the difference in stiffness levels. Even with the polycarbonate plate though, you won't be feeling much flex or give if that's something you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
On to acoustics. First things first. Let's talk about those GOAT stabilizers. They are pre-lubed with G-Lube, both on the plastic on plastic areas as well as on the wire, but it's not enough. I've heard worse stabs on other boards, and any veteran enthusiast should be able to tell it's been lubed somewhat, but once again, Glorious kind of shot themselves in the foot, it seems, calling them GOAT stabilizers.
Yeah,
as I've
they
also
definitely
heard
did.
better tuned stabilizers from other pre-built keyboards out of the box. I think the sound test demonstrates this best.
I can't dual stream skip, but I can stream separately. Baya, grab a... hold on. Baya, grab a KBD67lite in stock from Divinity. I don't know if they still have it in stock. But if you cancel your GMMK Pro, I think that's a better option. Let me pull back. Hey, at least the backspace is good. That spacebar hurt me though.
I think it's clear it could definitely use a bit more tuning. If you do take the time to tune them additionally than how they come pre-installed.
We got the playback speed right.
I also personally recommend swapping them out for
They got different amount of lube
or Zeal if possible. Annoyingly, Durox stabilizers are a rather tight fit on the aluminum plate, and if you're going to use the brass plate, you're going to need to sand off some of the stabilizers that house
Nope. I have done this before. The HA75, the acrylic being a much softer material to work with, I had to sand it down. It took me like 2 hours to sand acrylic. If you have to work with the brass, just don't, unless you actually have real power tools. If you're gonna take a file and just grind at it, it will take you all day. So if it doesn't fit, you're gonna have to use another step. That's all I got for you. Just don't. It's not gonna happen. I've done it and it sucks. These are Starfields. Let me grab my kit page. Sand the stabs? Okay, you can sand. Yeah, you can sand the stabs too. I've done that and that takes like 30 minutes. Because I did that for the unicorn. Because we want to use C3 stabs. And let me turn the music on. And the gummy O-ring doesn't quite work with Durox or C3 stabs. So I'm gonna drop a link for the Starfields right quick for any of you who are interested. If you use these links, they are affiliated, so you help support the channel. So I appreciate it if you do. don't have plans for an ounce build.
If you do go with an acrylic plate, however, the Durock stabilizers should fit fine.
My light
While
died.
none of the goat stabilizers I tried suffer from binding, I did notice a smoothness increase from the better quality stabilizers, so this is why I recommend a stabilizer upgrade. As for the board itself, I don't think it's all that bad. It sounds quite decent. My preference is towards the aluminum
It's mostly
plate.
the stabs.
I generally don't like polycarbonate plates for sound, and this is the same with the GMMK Pro. But if minimizing volume is your priority, then polycarbonate is the way. It does come included with 2 sheets of sound dampening foam, which are removable. In my opinion, the timbre of the board isn't spectacular, but it's not unpleasant by any means. I personally...
Is timbre a word? Timbre is a valid Scrabble word. Synonym for sound? Oh. Could have just said sound, but okay. Confused me for nothing.
Liked leaving both sheets of foam in
I have
for
a
acoustics,
PhD in music.
but you can experiment with it. Here are some sound tests with various switches and keycaps.
Sorry, relax. I have no idea. It comes with the plate, Jason. Oh, he just changed keycaps. Okay. I don't really judge sound off of keycaps. I just use GMK or EPBT for everything. Definitely still a good value. This one didn't pop. This one sounds a little weird. There's like a distinct change when you swapped over GMK. Yeah, if you like the look, Fred, it's a good option. It is a factor gray, I agree. I actually preferred it with the PBT. The blinking LED distracts me though.
Along with the GMMK
KBD67lite
Pro, Glorious has released some additional accessories you can purchase, such as their GPBT keycaps, cold cables, lube station, G-lube, wrist rest, and whatnot, which you can check out on their website. I'll just briefly mention the keycap since I imagine that will be most asked about.
It varies.
It's not for me. It's a PBT die subset that retails for $49.99 for 114
Yeah, I like the
keys.
PBT with
so it'll probably cover your average gaming keyboard, but for more enthusiast layouts, this will be lacking. Initially, 7 colors will be available, and personally for me, the only things I like about this set is the thickness of the keycap itself and the crispness of the legending. The alignment and consistency of the legending is pretty poor,
Very
however,
key yellow.
I'm not a fan of the right justified text on the right side mods.
Yeah,
of course, not everyone cares for spending as much as they do on their keycaps as they do on their keyboard, so if you plan on sticking with the GMMK Pro for a while and just want something simple to go along with it, consider the GPBT keycaps. The final verdict. While I did have something to say about pretty much every aspect of the keyboard...
Oh, another little editing trick that I always forget to do. So you see that jump cut, right?
To say about pretty much every aspect of the keyboard. Caps.
So when he did that last cut, his head was over here. And that when his head moved, it was a little jarring. So if you know you have paused, I would go back and review your footage, see where your body's placed, and then kind of mimic that. So if your hands are up, keep your hands up. If your head is in another position, keep your head in that same position. That's something I learned from Think Media. It's very minor though because he's using a teleprompter, so there's not a lot of jump cuts in this video, so it's very, very clean and easy to listen to.
Final verdict. While I did have something to say about pretty much every aspect of the keyboard, none of them were major deal breakers, and I actually think this is a fantastic value proposition for any enthusiast, regardless of their skill levels. While this keyboard is intended to be that next premium jump up for previous GMMK owners, or
I don't know if it's a premium jump up.
Ecosystem, I think this will also be a great recommendation for anyone looking to dip their toes into the enthusiast scene without breaking the bank too much. If layout isn't too big of a concern, I would 100% recommend this GMMK Pro over other keyboards with a similar price point or layout, such as the KBD75 series, the Drop Control. Heck, I'd even probably recommend you forego the Keychron keyboards and that you just save up for this.
Yeah, I would definitely skip the Keychron. The drop, it's hard to recommend the drop boards because of the 3-pin. You got to kill your switches by cutting off the 2 extra pins.
At this price point and with minimal tuning, you can really get a decent custom mechanical keyboard experience.
It's interesting that he made this video recently, right? There's no mention of the other customs. So he's really comparing it to other, because this is no longer a pre-built, right? Because it doesn't come with switches. So you got to compare it with custom hot swap, and he does it.
That I think will be a great gateway into the hobby for many people. I think the biggest hurdle for the enthusiast community is going to be separating the brand from the product. There's no doubt Glorious has rubbed many people the wrong way in the hobby initially, and that they clearly are new to the segment of products.
KBD67
Now, I'm not absolving Glorious of everything that they've done, but I do think that at least publicly, they have shown an openness and willingness to learn about the community and listen. And so far, I think the GMMK Pro is a decent first attempt. This board is, in my opinion, going to introduce
definitely agree it's a decent first attempt.
Custom mechanical keyboards can be like, and convert new people to become
ID80 would have been a good comparison
now,
as well.
Only time will tell how truly in tune they intend to be with the enthusiast segment, but this is just the beginning.
I feel like NK87 would be better than the GMMK Pro because it's not their first board.
Minuscule compared to the larger companies that will be taking notice and entering the space. But everyone needs to start somewhere, right? Whether it's a vendor or the next enthusiast joining the scene. And we should look to help guide and teach these new entities within a reasonable degree, of course.
My main concern was just the marketing. The board itself is fine, just a little too stiff. The firmware being bunked for some people, I haven't experienced it myself because I don't have the board in hand. It's a heavy board, so it's fine. They don't do 3-pin switches, which is good. I don't know why. The original Glorious board had it, as well as the drop boards. And KD7 is also $100 more. That's hard. Then go GMMK Pro. I'm sure they'll address the issues in the GMMK Pro too.
Joining a niche hobby is a two-way relationship. Veteran members shouldn't look to gatekeep.
Probably low to mid 100.
At the same time, new entities do need to put in the work to truly learn the culture of the space and not expect to be spoon-fed everything. Alright, that's it for me from this video. It's been a while since I've done a review video like this on YouTube, but you can expect more to come. Let me know how you guys like the format.
Cool. I think that was pretty fair. Let me put my light back up. You can tell what I'm watching on YouTube, and it's like half educational, half YouTube drama.
I think I've rewritten this.
I don't understand how his quality is so good that it looks like he's freaking green screened. They did an AMA, but I honestly think they delete comments because I go through these AMAs because people were commenting on the GMMK Pro reaction video and they're saying like, when did they say this? I'm like, I remember them saying it, but I go back and backtrack the Reddit threads and it's all positive comments. So I'm like, where is everything else? It's unlikely that they get like 99.9% good reception online. It's just unlikely. Would I pick the ID80 V2 over this? I'm not sure. I haven't gotten ID80 in hand. I'd have to get both in hand. I heard good things about ID80 as in like it's good enough. So the GMMK Pro being also good enough might be a good option. Given as stiff as the board already is, do you think removing the screws on the plate PCB will give maximum flex? You can if you use a rubber plate, but here's the thing. If you take apart the standoffs, and you have to then use, you can take off these standoffs and then use an aluminum plate, then that'll work. But if you use a poly plate, you do want the rubber plate foam or something, and that will not make it no longer flexible. His beard is nuts. His beard is of legend. ID8 is worse. See, it's a preference thing. Some people say yes, some people say no. Alright. Yeah, it's infamous for being hollow. You just stuff it with foam. And I feel like if you take all the foam out of the GMMK Pro, it's going to sound very similar. I would keep a Psychic just to know. And if you don't want it, I'm sure you can sell it off to somebody. I don't think it's going to drop below the value of like a drop control where you end up losing a little money on the resale. Best plate mount stabs. I think Gateron has some. But they're out of stock on Divinity. I don't have the video on KBD67 Lite yet, but that's my next video. More to come. I was supposed to script it today, but I decided to do the stream instead. Alright, let's pull up badseedtech's review.
Review at least 4 times. So Gloria shipped the largest review package I have ever received in the history of the channel. It's way too much to cover in one video. The original draft of this video was over 25 minutes long. So here's how it's going down.
Never got
you
played
put
my
up your $169.99 US, and in exchange you get the stock
hand,
bare bones GMMK Pro experience. Is that the move? Then I'll cover options, add-ons, and accessories in a separate follow-up video because there is a lot to unpack there. You ready? Let's go!
KBD75 is actually pretty thoughtful.
Priced at $169.99,
that's a surprising
the GMMK
variant.
Pro comes in either slate black or ice white, which is actually
I'll take that over the GMMK Pro, but it doesn't look as nice.
So you don't have to do anything to it out of the box to get it ready to go, but it's on you to provide switches and keycaps. It's currently only available in ANSI, but the official word from Glorious is that ISO will be supported in the future. I do want to mention too, before we really dive in here, that Glorious got these out to reviewers way in advance. I've personally had my hands on this thing for weeks, so this is not like a hot take or a first look or whatever you want to call it. We've got a 75%
Hey, do you call me out, bro?
83 keys in all, so you get to keep a physical function row up top.
I've had zero
plus your
time on the
arrows
board,
with
so
blocking as well. A 4-key column on the
I'm just
far
like
right
you guys
and a
right now, just
rotary
looking at
knob with
reviews.
click functionality. The knob is a textured aluminum outer with a plastic internal hub, has a light tactile feel to it on rotation, and handles media controls by default. The case is a monster. I mean, it's heavy as at like 3.3 pounds or almost 1,500 grams. It has a footprint that's really not that much larger than a 65%. It's
Okay, this is unfair. So, if you're barely bigger than a 65, you're also one column smaller than a TKL. So, it's big. All right, we can't. If you throw a TKL in here, it's gonna be like right here. Would a KBD67 be an upgrade to my NK65EE? I think it sounds better, but I would not upgrade from an NK65EE to a KBD67 Lite.
that much larger than a 65%.
I would rather save up and get something different.
It's CNC machined aluminum with a giant Glorious engraved across the back. The finish on the case is really clean.
He did better than RFP. He didn't blow out the color. Exposure's proper.
It's engraved across the back. The finish on the case is really clean, smooth, no blemishes, angles are clean, sharp, no flip down.
I have a black one and a white
typing angle that works
black
great
from
with the wrist
R1.
rest. The height of the
and
case
white
versus the
from
keycap profile does show the edges of the switch.
Yeah, this makes it feel a little bit cheaper, unfortunately. But it shows off the RGB if you care, so you can see it peek out. But for most nicer customs, they do not want the switch exposed like this. 75 should be the same width as a 65, but when they do an exploded layout like this, when they separate like it normally, or in some layouts, these are touching, right? If they're touching, it's the same width as a 65, but taller height. But when they're exploded out like this, it's like 1.5 columns instead of the 1 column.
Great with a wrist rest. The height of the case versus the keycap profile does show the edges of the switches. The plate is super tough too. I've swapped switches out probably like 7 times in this board, and aside from some paint rubbing off their switch puller, which wipes right off, the plate still looks solid.
Brandon
PCB is hot swap. It accommodates 5-pin switches. These hot swap sockets are actually Glorious branded, and they're installed in such a way that some of the branding is right side up and the others are not. It's just kind of weird. Sockets here are south facing, meaning the LED is on the bottom. This is generally preferred for proper compatibility between certain.
Wait, did he say this correctly? Hold on. North facing switches? He said they're south facing. Okay, I googled this before and it didn't. I feel like these are north facing, right? Wait, are they south facing? I'm super confused. They're south facing? Okay. My bad. Put that in the brain bank.
Certain switches and cherry profile caps like GMK. The downside to this though is that the LED being on the bottom means that shine through caps are not going to light correctly. Nonetheless,
I didn't know that actually. I didn't know shine through needs the north facing. Is that true? I've never tried it.
you do get per key RGB and these light bars on either side of the case. They're not bright enough to throw any kind of glow.
If you look at the, is it smooth then? I can see so much texture in this shot. Maybe it's just because he's using a freaking macro.
any kind of glow, and interestingly, they function as a caps lock indicator by flashing.
I really hate the blinking.
Cable connection here is USB-C, and it's so center mounted, like real center too, not off center. It is recessed enough to not show any of the connector, and the case design kind of hides the connection under that top lip as well. So the design here is gasket mount versus tray mount, like we see commonly on like a lot of the Ducky boards, GK stuff, the Drop Carina, etc. Before we get into this, I have to say, at the time of this video, the only other gasket mount board I've used is the Portico. In that review, the effect of the gasket mount really bringing some flex to the typing experience is very obvious. The entire plate PCB assembly really has some plate to it. Opening it up, you'll have the top portion, the lower, and the mated plate. And
once again, Keel Hostile Sock is being compressed into the foam. Most legends are topside with north-facing RGB lights. I haven't used per key RGB in a while, so.
PCB assembly.
Okay, so standard gasket positioning, but there's gaskets on the side as well. It blinks when the cap sock is on. Yeah, I don't like that. I'd rather have a solid color. Blinking is distracting.
You need to be careful as that plate assembly has a cable connecting it to the lower part of the case. It comes off easy, but be ready for it so you don't pull it. This is probably a good time too to say that Glorious really does encourage you to open this board. You don't void any warranty or anything opening this up. You still have a 2-year warranty on this thing.
That's actually really good having a warranty on a board, because customs you don't have that warranty. You can kind of like ask them like, hey, this didn't work, can you help me? But in some situations the vendor won't.
Inside, you'll see we have dampening foam in the lower as well as sandwiched in between the plate and the PCB. It's decent foam out of the box, but there will likely be some aftermarket options popping up soon enough. So on the edges of the plate, there are tabs. These tabs
are pretty big. I mentioned this before, the Chimera 65 sounded better than the Iron and the Key Colts because the tabs are big. So this is actually surprising that they went with this instead of a kind of more like a thick piece and then a thin piece connecting to the plate itself, the main piece.
Sit between the same kind of little dampeners or gaskets,
warranty
I guess, that we saw on the
Do they have warranty?
The difference here is that this case is really tight when it's all together. So tightly compressed that these dampeners look pretty chewed when I open it up. You can also see that the gaskets in the top section of the case are really flat to the frame. You can really illustrate what's happening here when the case isn't fully assembled, but when you do get the board assembled, there's no perception of that plate PCB assembly floating inside the case. It's like rock solid, very stiff. Stop it. They also include additional dampeners if you'd like to experiment with adding more pad to the top, but again, it's so tightly compressed that I don't notice a big effect. So if you're looking at this board for the gasket mount and you're expecting some kind of flex or bounce there, that's not achieved the way this is implemented. The board
in regard to gasket mounting, typically the flex doesn't come from that. I think it changes sound more often, especially if you're using an aluminum or brass plate. A gasket mount aluminum or brass plate, you won't really feel any different, in my opinion, because I did try the whatever the Kiko TKL was I built pretty early on. I used a brass plate gasket and it really didn't feel that different.
Chip stock with an aluminum plate that's matched to look pretty much identical
super
to the case.
tight.
There are brass and polycarb options available aftermarket, but they really complicate the discovery.
Porn's expensive. It's like $20. I mean, it's like $15 and then $10 shipping. I buy my porn foam from Granger. I have it in a few videos, and it's like $30 shipped for something that can cover 2, maybe 3 boards. Way more expensive than
It's a large task to swap the plates in this board, so we're going to save that for the follow-up video. Let's talk about these GOAT stabilizers. GOAT, greatest of all time. Why would you do that to yourself? A more fitting name would be stabilizers. They're actually better than the stabs included on most pre-built boards, but they flew a little too close to the sun with the marketing on that. These things come lubed liberally with G-Lube, and are still a little rattly, which kind of throws shade not only at the stabs, but also at G-Lube. They are PCB mount, which was the right move, so you can't swap them out with some aftermarket stabilizers. Glorious warns the fit may be really tight with Durox stabs. I personally didn't have that issue. C3 Equals and Zeo both worked fine as well. I don't have any more in-house to test, unfortunately. Bare minimum here, you would want to relube the wires with something a little thicker. I would personally replace these. These are going to be close enough, I guess, for the majority of consumers. Definitely not enough to satisfy the enthusiast crowd.
Wait, sorry. I need like a key to bring it back to 1x. Ravi, I don't think this stream right now is toxic. I've been following following the chat, and I think it's been pretty fair criticisms. If you call this toxic, wait till you get deeper into the hobby. There's way worse than what's happening right now. Yeah, Robbie, thank you. He's using stock switches, which is fair, which is what most people are gonna do. Guys, Ravi is saying not this one, but he's saying in general, which is true. In general. Shit. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's someone. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. I can't read your name.
So we heard some pre-lube Glorious Pandas that may be coming soon, and some banana splits or machos, along with a couple of Glorious's
We're gonna look at
sets, which I'll cover in more detail later,
it's
as well as GMK phosphorus. Like I said, I've been typing on this board for a few weeks now. With the Pandas, I still get a little pain.
I'm gonna say right now, I don't think people were dealing this board for a few weeks. I mean, the tech reviewers probably. Someone already mentioned in the chat that Taeha was not using it during streams. But if I were reviewing it, I would also probably not daily it because it hurts. It, like, for someone who has experienced the higher end, like using this on a daily basis, it's okay, Ravi. I think chat understands. And if you're someone that's more experienced and you've been in the hobby, I think you can kind of understand what's gonna sound and feel like after an hour. You don't need to use it for weeks. But it's interesting to hear that they're all saying, I have been using this for a few weeks. Every single one mentions it in their video. Brain. That hurt my head. I'll go back.
With the banana splits, I really don't hear anything negative at all, except for some stab rattle on the spacebar. I know we've all heard all the sound tests. I enjoy the sound of this board. It's muted enough to where I'm not getting anything really negative, but I'm still getting enough low end for it to be satisfying to me. As for the typing experience, I've had no issues there either. It's
probably a good display board,
probably more than I'd like. Stop. But we'll talk more about that in the video with the plate comparison. The board does have QMK compatibility with VIA support on the way.
His fast cut to that joke where it says stop, the transition's really clean, so you don't hear it jump. So I enjoy that.
You can, of course.
And also, his lighting setup.
The board does have.
If your room looks like crap, do this. Not to say that badseedtech's room looks like crap. This is just his aesthetic. But I know Foss knows this if he's still here. The darker you make your room, you don't have to cable manage because no one's ever going to see your cables.
QMK compatibility with VIA support on the way. You can, of course, use the Glorious Core software. Heads up, it's still pretty rough or basic, I guess, in terms of control.
I don't think they've been testing it for weeks either.
It is crucial to push
probably use it
firmware
for the
so you should leave it installed for a bit after
review.
you get your board. I do know that there's a day
testing.
one firmware push, so make sure you at least have it loaded up when you get your board.
I don't see any footage of them like putting a, you know how Dave 2D uses the decibel meter and stuff, putting it next to the keyboard. I think Dave 2D tests his like products. I don't think that people are testing these as critically as someone would like the Dave 2D would test laptops. There's not much to test anymore.
So talking value, when you look at their whole ecosystem approach with all the upsells and add-ons, that conversation gets really muddy.
Yeah,
which is why I tried really hard to reframe and keep this review.
What? Did they send him this entire store? They gave him cables too? What are these? Can you like... I think they gave him like the premium switch puller or keycap puller too. What's the Panda for? Oh my god. A cleaning kit. Hey, why couldn't they give him a bigger tub of G-Lube? Fill this out in the community. I'm working on Jopi. I'm working on it. We're grinding. He needs to hook us up with some. Dude, there's so much stuff. I'm imagining he got sent like a straight up crate. Most of these are useless. Hey, it's the thought that counts.
If I filter all that noise out and I look at this board purely from here's $170, here's the bare bones kit that I get in return, it's really hard to not see this as a compelling value. If I look at this board versus a similarly spec'd 500 or...
Hold on. Even a pre-assembled KBD75 will smoke the GMMK Pro. You do lose hot swap, but KBD75 isn't fair. D85 is more fair. What's D85? What am I Googling by accident? The keyboard was under NDA and Taeha wasn't allowed to show it on stream. How does the NDA work? Because Alex built it on stream. The whole NDA thing has been confusing to me because Alex built it on stream, but he wasn't allowed to like review it on stream. Huh? What kind of oddly specific NDA is this? I'm really confused. D84, D87? How? It must suck to like try to build something and not be able to review it. How is this more fair? Oh, it's gasket? Dude, I'm not gonna lie, fucking KBD75 sounds better than the gaskets. It's gonna sound way thockier. Alex said, has special permission to do just a stream on their channel and post a video. Okay. That's like a really weird situation, Alex. Cause I'm sure on your stream, chat was like, how does this sound? How are they going to stabilize it? And you had to like not say anything. That's just a weird environment to be in as a streamer, because you have your hands literally tied behind your back. KBD75 makes almost anything sound thocky, which is good for some people. Some people like the clack. I think Alexotos, you're a clack lover, right? Mute the music. Put it back.
$600 board.
Robbie, it depends on what kind of sound.
The gasket mount implementation, the quality of the foam inserts, the fact that the knob is not solid brass, etc. But it's not a $500 bare bones kit. I don't even have that perspective. I don't own one board in that price range.
That's Cat. I was just walking around. Yeah, so like this board right here, like this will not clack. I'm gonna tell you right now, this just will not clack. I just know it. Know how I know? I put in clacky switches. I put in JWK, and that's a JWK. It's not clacking. You can put your MX Blacks in there. I can almost guarantee it's gonna sound talky. So that's another thing. The KBD67 Lite is a great option, but if you want something clack in your life, it ain't gonna clack. It's a KBD67 Lite R2. Even Moyus. I don't have a Moyus right here, but we can do that sometime. I feel like it's gonna be a deep thought with the Moyus too.
Is my KBD75 V2. I paid a grand total of $235 for the kit and the weight, no stabs, and the GMMK Pro is better in virtually every regard. NK65 entry
because it's not a big upgrade, Joe. You're gonna lose money selling the NK65.
KBD Lite is 110.
Whoa! He actually included the light. Hold on, we need to do 1x speed for this. Yo, he actually. Wait. I tuned out. Homie dropping actual knowledge in here. You can replace him, Joe.
That perspective. I don't own one board in that price range. Okay. My most expensive board to date is.
Sorry.
My most expensive board to date is my KBD75 V2. I paid a grand total of $235.
$235
for the kit and the weight, no stabs, and the GMMK Pro is better in virtually every regard.
The green one's Ikki68 Aurora. Did he just say the GMMK Pro is better than the KBD75 in every regard? Akumi? You're doing so well. I believed in you. I'm just a KBD fan show. I do have a link for KBD fans, so I'm probably a KBD fan show. Don't say that they paid the creators. That's not the thing we want to make it normal. All right? not. It's just they choose how they want to maintain their relationship. They can choose to say one thing or another, or they may just prefer the GMMK Pro over the KBD67 Lite. For me, I wholeheartedly disagree. But also, the KBD75 makes everything thocky. The GMMK Pro can still clack. So maybe he's a clack lover. I'm going to hide that one roll. What exactly about the KBD75 is better than GMMK Pro? The sound is much cleaner. It's going to be thockier, but I like the case more because it feels pretty heavy, especially with his weight. It does include stab, so we can't really compare stab to stab. I just like that board. Like, that board made me consider KBD fans as an option, and it's a tray mount. So in terms of mounting style, this board should sound worse or feel worse than a gasket mount, but it sounds freaking good for a tray mount. I get paid by KBD fans. Not yet. I haven't gotten an affiliate pay yet.
NK65 entry, $95.
Yeah, he probably just has a preference. I'm trying to explain this so we don't just be like, fuck badseedtech. No, badseedtech, he's not an enemy. No creators are enemies. Each creator has a different set of preferences, right? But for me, I was just like, wait, that's not what I would say. The weight helps it feel heavier, but also changes the sound of it.
Aluminum version is $190.
NK65 V2 is not a good buy. I don't think it's a good value buy. If you go with NK65 EE, it's a good value, but the V2 just doesn't make sense.
KBD Lite is $110.
KBD Lite is $110, is a banger. Alexotos reviewed the Portico. I never got it in hand, so watch his content for the opinions on the Portico.
Portico is $120. Ikki68 wired is $130. Haven't had my hands on it yet, but
hands on it? We want hands on it? Hold on. So that was Ikki68 and the KBD67 Lite. Hands on it. You heard it. Hopefully it helps. Nice, Manic. Hopefully we can hear your opinions on it. Yeah, saying it better in all aspects. So the funny thing is, he said GM Glorious shot themselves in the foot by calling it the greatest of all time stabs. Unfortunately, he also shot himself in the foot by saying the KBD75 is outshined, or like the GMMK Pro is better than the KBD75 in every aspect. It may be better in some aspects. Let's say if you prefer clack, then yeah. But in every aspect, I don't think there's any board that destroys any other board in every aspect. So, like these two right here. This sounds stockier. This has more customization. This is lighter. This is, I think this is ABS plastic. This is injection molded polycarbonate. This has a weight. This doesn't have any weight. This has swappable badges. This doesn't have anything. This is kind of plain Jane. Apparently this bounces with bump-ons. This doesn't. This layout's ugly to some people. This layout's too plain for some people. There's just no absolute yes, no, this is better than this. Chris, this is how reactions go. We pause it so I don't talk over them. For the prices, does hit a lot of enthusiasts, true.
But I do hear alt high profile is $190. The Idlebow ID 80 is probably the closest. It goes for like $140, $150.
Yeah,
you're gonna get an all aluminum design, 75% layout, USB-C, PCB mount stabs, hot swap, south-facing sockets, gasket mount design, 2 layers of foam dampening, a rotary knob, blocking for the arrows, control software, QMK compatibility, future VIA compatibility, and these are supposed to be in stock all the time with a warranty. Like, you may prefer a different form factor or layout or mounting system or acoustic profile, but to argue that you're not getting a lot of value here for $170 is a pretty interesting argument. Now, I will have some much more colorful commentary when we start talking about add-ons and accessories. Given their track record, I also really looked for signs of cut corners or QC issues, like those rough-looking gasket mount dampeners and the subpar stab performance. really the best I could come up with. No disconnects, no weirdness. The hot swap sockets stood up to repeated swaps, and I'm sure that Glorious went over these boards carefully before they went out to reviewers, but I really hope that the quality I have here is consistent with what everybody else.
Warranty thing is definitely
I'm also sure that based on...
Because here's the thing. I broke my KBD67 a few times, and I was lucky that KBD Fans has some form of warranty, but there were other companies that would have just said, Andy, you tested the PCB when you started and it was fine, so anything after that is on you. Sorry. KBD Fans has some kind of warranty, so if you have a PCB issues where it gets shorted, you can email them and they can possibly replace the PCB for you, as long as it wasn't some kind of thing where you literally ripped the pad. There is some form of warranty with some of the bigger companies. So KBD Fans is more in the, like, it's a company, but Joe Schmo out of his garage in his mom's basement doing a 20 unit GB, I don't know about that. I don't know how much resources they have. KBD Fans has more resources. Once again, Andy being a KBD Fans stan. It's my first board, dude.
On feedback they've already got and future feedback.
And I'm not going to talk badly on other companies, but I've had similar issues with other vendors. TX Keyboards also replaced the PCB for me, so shout out to TX Keyboards. But there are other vendors that said, sorry. And I'm like, fair. All right. All right, later, Asmus.
There's going to be some things they want to change in this. If you're dying to get your hands on it right now, go for it. Otherwise, kick back and wait for the revisions to roll out. But I think they did what they set out to do in terms of making an accessible entry point into higher-end customers for the everyday customer. I don't think there's a lot with this board that really interests the boutique or high-end keyboard market, and I don't think it's going to hurt the high-end market. Demand usually far outweighs supply in that market, and the kind of user that wants to flex with a really rare or really expensive board isn't the kind of...
Oh, that looks really cool. Yeah, no one's going to throw in some vintage MX Black to the GMMK Pro.
User that's going to be interested in a board like this. This is the close enough version for the user that can't or doesn't want to prioritize a $350 or $500 bare bones kit. Just a reminder that original shipment is delayed due to shipping. Affiliate links down below if you do want to get your hands on one. As always, any questions, hit me in the comments. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P.
Oh, another thing about the affiliate links, sometimes it's not them trying to earn money. Sometimes it's just tracking. So I did get affiliate links with Drop when I did the Drop Enter. This is just one way for the company to track how much traffic the creator is generating so they can allocate resources. So badseedtech probably is generating a lot of traffic, so they give them a big package of goodies. Someone smaller was getting less clicks may end up getting a smaller package. It's just a tracking thing. To be honest, 170 is not entry at all. Oh shit, something just broke off. Oh god, hold on. I'm playing music. Sorry, that straight up just fell off. Just put some lube on it, should be fine. Pretty sure lube would be the opposite. It's like enthusiast entry, I agree. Why isn't Garza making a review?
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that...
I pressed the wrong keyboard. Oh! It's alexotos time. Guys, please make sure to escort alexotos out so we can be honest. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he did the live stream for like 5 hours.
So this is the GMMK Pro, and you've probably seen a lot of people talking about it by now. You might have even seen my sound demo videos. There's a lot to talk about with this keyboard. Now, the first thing I want to cover is, first of all, keyboards, very preference-based, but there are some objectively good and objectively bad things about keyboards. We're going to be going into that today, and we're going to be taking a deep dive at what the GMMK Pro offers.
Where's his beautiful face? I wanted to see his mustache.
That these keyboards come in two different colors, one being black and the other in a white ice. Now, when I think of white ice, I definitely don't think of silver. I think of more of my cable color there, which is a bright white. I guess this is what they consider to be their white ice. Let it be known that I personally think and view this as more of a silver color. And at the current time of this video, this keyboard retails for about $170. I don't know if that's going to be changing anytime soon, but it is $170 US. And just kind of like the Ikki68 Aurora, there's a lot of different accessories for this. Definitely not as many as that particular keyboard, but there are still some that they offer. For example, different plates, different knob colors. But I'm not going to go into.
Damn, this fool with the background perfectly parallel. Wait. Nah, it's parallel. These are parallel. Wait. Someone check the angle. Just kidding. Oh, you got the syringe. It's for plugging the butt. Plants. I need new plants. Jinte also does plants on the stream. I just don't think the forehead.
The details about the accessories, if you guys want to take a look at those,
come on, Intrinsic.
Site. A lot of other people are doing wonderful
Some people just type
reviews on those.
differently.
I just want to talk about what I know best, which is these keyboards. All right, so first thing I want to do is actually open this thing up, and I want to show you what you actually get inside one of your kits. Ignore all my fingerprints. I do think that assembly of a board is also very important. An easy to assemble board usually is more beginner friendly.
I just want to see how many screws are in this.
Now, you're not going to get keycaps, you're not going to get switches, but you do get a whole bunch of other things. I will show you here in 1 second. I will also show the disassembly from the back side.
Noticing angles, engineer. Plasma make a room so much more alive.
All right, now that we've opened up our black unit, let's see what's inside. So we're going to have our top frame over here, which we actually have to remove this little guy over here, the knob. And now that we got the top frame off, we're greeted with our PCB/plate assembly. This is going to be one big unit since it's screwed together, but be careful, lift it from the bottom and up. There is a daughter board cable.
Thanks,
we're going to slowly remove that.
6 a.m.
Now we are greeted with our
going to bed?
And this is a hotspot PCB, as you guys can see, as well
as our top
construction. In the box, you're going to be getting your base, this foam at the bottom here, daughter board cable, top.
So yeah, the foam is also compressed in this, so that's a pattern to notice.
Frame, plate, and PCB.
There's too many screws. That's
for 1 second to remind you guys,
said.
this board's $170. There are kits out there that cost much more, and some that cost in the $200 to $300 range. They're considered an entry level. But we have been seeing a rise of budget-friendly boards,
What's the point
like
of
Ikki68, like the NK65, as well as a whole bunch of other things like the Portico and the Ramakara. The point I want to get across is, while this is a cheaper board, it is not exempt from criticism. And before we get into too much of the case construction or quality of the case, I did want to bring up a big thing, in which is probably the most commented thing right now, the stock stabs. I do want to make it apparent that I do think the stock stabs need work. They don't feel good. I tried so hard
text
to
overlays
get them to not rattle, and I just couldn't do it. I tried more lubricant. I tried reseating everything. I tried putting some bandage mods underneath. Everything you guys can think of, I tried. Nothing.
Do Band-Aid mods reduce rattle? I don't think that's something, right? He may have just tried that just to try anything. I think it just changes the sound and feel to make it quieter.
I could do can make those stock stabs not rattle. However,
is the iFixit kit worth it? This top part or the lead might be a little short. I have some links for the tool I use and I haven't had any issues. Which is this one. It has a pretty long drivers. Gets in every hole. Not sus.
One small thing,
holy,
however you guys want to
screw
do it,
holy.
that I found out
they do
with
reduce rattle.
Stabs,
okay, thanks, Tredegy.
they might actually be a different size than what we in the keyboard world are used to, and by that I mean the housings are a little smaller, and I'm not sure if that's affecting the sound. How that came to be was when I actually swapped out the stabs for the
thank you
Duroc
for the
stabs.
sub.
I noticed there was a bunch of plate tightness. I also tried cherry stabs as well as some other stabs as well. Could not get anything that wouldn't be super tight on those plates. I do feel like if you want the best experience out of your stabilizers, you want that really smooth aftermarket modded feel where you're not going to have a lot of that rattling noise, you're better off buying a set of stabs if you wanted to invest your money in this board. But I also feel that it's very important to note that these do come with the board, so it's not like you have to go out of your way to buy them. I would have loved to see an option where the bare bones kit did not even come with stabs at all. I think that would have been a lot better for anyone who is dreading the fact of going to buy an additional part. And the best way I can really show you guys what I meant by that plate tightness is on the brass plate. These are the stock stabs. They fit flush, they go in very easily, and they remove very easily as well. And you guys can see from that side profile, they sit nice and flush, and again, they remove nice and easy. If we try that again with the Duroc stab, this is where the trouble part comes in. I can't even get this in the actual plate.
So did they divert from standard stab sizes so that you're forced to use or the goat stabs, and if you want to use something else, you have to start filing down plastic. Or maybe it was an accident. They didn't use the standards.
Requires a lot of force, and that's what really leads me to believe there's some sort of tolerance gap that you really have to start pushing.
Oh, y'all remember when I was doing Holy Pandas and stuff on, or like Zycos and stuff, and my thumbs are just like bright red? I'm sorry, Alex. Look, that pain. Oh God, look at his fingers right now. The stress trying to get this in. Oh.
See, I'm using a lot of strength here too to get this in.
They stamp out the plates instead of using CNC.
This is on the
is that cheaper?
I had to do the same thing with the polycarbonate and aluminum. It wasn't as bad on the polycarbonate, but it was still very much there on the aluminum. This is kind of where I'm a little bit disappointed. This poses a big problem too. For anyone who's and wants to actually swap this out, this is not easy to do, and this is kind of nerve-wracking. So this is very disappointing, and it really makes me feel like Glorious just really wanted people to go with their
R1, Alex 0.
However, I can't really recommend their stabs, and we'll talk more about them later when we talk about the goat stabs. So there is something else I wanted to point out with the plate and the foam. The plate, as you guys can see, has foam underneath. Now, out of the box, that foam is actually...
When you say punch, you're talking about like a hole punch? Like straight up just like clip, stab hole, clip. Good. Because that's so scuffed.
Glued to the underside of the plate in one small area. I have no idea why they did this. I did ask, and it seems like the answer that came about was so it didn't slip.
Wait, glue?
Oh,
his is glued in.
It seems like the answer glued to the underside of the plate in one small area. I have no idea why they did this. I did ask.
Okay, addressing Alex. I took apart my drop enter because I desoldered and then built it with something else to send to somebody. There was actually random spots in which there was lube on the plate and case once I opened it up. This is a pre-built and it's not intended to be taken apart and desoldered, but I did. I was like, why are there just random globs of glue? I'm gonna bet they just accidentally put glue in there, dude. Like a straight up just accident, like machine just be dripping and whoopsie. I don't know.
Asking, it seems like the answer that came about was so it didn't slip. Now,
saves time and money for production.
I said, the glue from both of mine.
So I mentioned that I assumed that Glorious would be able to cut corners so that they can get this at a lower price point, which is a totally fair thing to do. And I got berated saying like they could just do more volume and that is why they can get a lower price. Don't just assume they're cutting corners. Case in point here, I guess. Y'all just helping me with information. I'm not sure.
But if you guys are opening this up and wanting to get rid of that, just get rid of it. Now, on the topic of plates, it does come stock with an aluminum plate, but honestly,
they confirmed it was intentional.
Like the polycarbonate plate that I have,
but how come your unit got it and no one else's?
Actually, the best plate out of all three of these. I did not like the brass. I do feel like the aluminum inside this particular case feels weird. Now, again, this is a total preference thing. I did actually prefer the aluminum more than I preferred the brass, but I do feel like the polycarbonate had the best sound profile to my preference out of all three of the plates. And I typically like aluminum. The problem is with this aluminum plate here is the spacebar as well as the bottom row felt a little high pitched, and I did not like that. It did not go with the rest of this board. And the reason why I actually swapped to an ABS plastic opposed to the rest of the PBT caps on here was because this felt and sounded the best to my ears.
Not a shill, by the way.
This is highly preference.
I'm just trying to stretch.
So if you guys
fucking
like the way it sounded,
Alice, can you send me that stock sound? I want to be part of the YouTuber crew that uses that sound. That sound just kills me, dude.
The sound tests are in my YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the bio as well for that. And
I don't care about the sound test. I want the sound effect.
This, so I kind of want to go back and forth between good and bad points. One really good point is just how well built this keyboard is. What I really liked about this is the finish. The finish on both of my units were very.
We as a community yelled at mode because the inside of the case was kind of rough for an FE unit. To be fair, this looks really clean on the inside. There's not like really weird anno marks and scuffage. I've seen some of the GB boards that have interior markings that are way worse than this. So I think the KBD67lite being a budget board has had instances where it was more roughed up in the inside, and this precise cutout is actually well done.
Very good. And one really big plus that I really liked about this particular board was the channel it had for the daughter board.
There it is. Alex knows.
Clips to where it kind of locks the daughter board cable in place. I really like that, and I wish more boards.
I swear I didn't watch this before. Alex and I didn't collude. Just on the same.
Would do that. Typically what happens is these daughter boards, the cable for them kind of go all over the place and kind of makes putting down your construction of the case a little bit more difficult. So
Tofu65 looks way more boring than
But with that being
Pro.
said, I do have to discredit it some points for its gasket implementation. Now by default, the gaskets are very shallow on the top of the frame. In fact, they were so
Alright, what Hucko said, can we like figure out where they said that this board was going to destroy everything else? Because I definitely remember hearing it and reading it, but I can't find that anymore. So when I say that, people think I'm just a hater, and I want to get backup for the things I say, or else I just need to stop saying them. Because if I can't find backup, in which case they in a place where they said that this would obliterate the GB market, like, then maybe I'm just imagining things. It's important. If they'd never said it, then maybe we're all just being unfair on the board. I think it's the original announcements.
Shallow that I.
Wait, did you donate? Hold on. If you donated, I want to look at it. Let me see if I got any donations. I'm putting the music back. Yeah, can you chat? Can you find that and like link it so we can look at it, so we can try to be fair? All of you did this. Just kidding. If you would like to donate, this is the link. It's still on the page. Time for Wayback Machine. Is it the original product page? I mean, to be fair, like the board that the content creator that got me into the hobby was RFP's Grid 600 video, and now that I look back to that sound test with the knowledge I have now, I listen back, I'm like, that's actually really overlubed and sounds kind of bad. But I saw the Gathering Inks and it got me into the hobby, and now I can tune my Gathering Inks a bit better than his video from like a year and a half ago. So there's that. There's like, even if you come in saying improper things, incorrect things, there's still value in just bringing it to more people. It's on their IG. I want to see what they said originally. Gangs are overrated. Try to get. I need to block you from the chat. I'm just kidding. The V2s are a little scuffed, so. Is it here? It's further back. How far did it go? They said they asked for help. I've been here since November 2019. So some people have attacked me for that. They said, you've only been here for a year, bro. Who do you think you are? You only get a few hundred viewers on Twitch. I'm like, do you understand how hard it is to get a few hundred viewers on Twitch? Most people stream to 0 for years. But I don't fight back. If people are going to think like that, it's really hard to convert their thoughts. Let me see if I see it. Hold on, I think I need to switch. 1 second. Tom Rim. Thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. I'm using a Juby right now. It was like after the SAT75 release. Where is it? The OG poster from November. December? Oh, I need to go further back. Andy, don't get trapped. Don't click, don't click. Okay. Almost clicked. Where? Oh, okay. Here we go. Wing stand? Don't say that out loud in public. It's okay for a beginner. Here we go. Let's read this chat. Here we go. Alright. Can you see it? Okay. Entering the next level. Introducing the GMMK Pro, a premium gasket mounted 75% keyboard. Premium. This is where you shoot yourself in the foot. This is built for enthusiasts, gamers, and professionals. The GMMK Pro features a fully CNC'd machine aluminum case, 5-pin modular PCB, all new screw-in GOAT stabilizers, a rotary encoded KBD67lite support, and much more. We've poured our hearts into this board. The GMMK Pro was designed for enthusiasts, but accessible for any user. Shit. I'm like getting stressed reading this. This will be the highest quality keyboard at this price point on the market. We hope it opens new doors for many into the world of premium mechanical keyboards. Today at 6 p.m. the CST, our founder, Shazim, will host an AMA on our mechanical keyboard subreddit. Feel free to ask any and all questions you may have. We have listened to the keyboard community closely, and we're excited to share the GMMK Pro with you all. This is not a group buy. Learn more about the GMMK Pro and all of its features, plus sign up for updates about the reservations. Follow the link in our bio. So the statement feels, it's not explicitly saying that it's going to take down other boards. Yeah, because they took a 75% layout and the knob. Technically, the KBD67 Lite and the Ikki68 Aurora cannot take it down. Hi, Eric. But right here, when they said it's a premium board built for enthusiasts, so it's not clearly saying that an enthusiast will like it, but they definitely like kind of overshot a little bit, just a little bit, in my opinion. They should overshot a little bit. There's a lot of buzzwords. I definitely read GB Killer somewhere else too. The KBD67 Lite. Oh, what's up, Yeffy? Yeah, these are $100, $130 boards. It counts. It's just for enthusiasts, it feels like it's overshot. From November? When's November? Reducing vibration. I remember hearing that from the reviews. It's faster than a GB, because GB is like 6 months and the pre-order is like 2 to 3. Everything else sounds fine. Yeah, it's just a sales pitch. Is GMK Pro good for Thok? I feel like it sounded clackier than I expected. Alright, let's finish Alexotos review.
I had to add the extra gasket material that it came.
You pull an archive? Drop the link.
With that being said, there is a very high level of compression that happens between the gaskets here on the top and on the bottom. Now, what does that mean for your typing experience?
Wait, did you drop it in there? Wait. From their blog, there's nothing quite like this board readily available for anyone to buy. Similar boards often sell for hundreds of dollars, usually only via limited group buys. It's still not a direct call out. I agree, Wizard. It's a sales team that kind of made it difficult for people to, enthusiasts to kind of accept this board.
It's going to be a bit stiffer. The gaskets still do some of their job, which is absorb some of that impact and reduce some of that weird noise or feeling that you get from the metal case, but it doesn't have that softer typing experience that you typically would find in a gasket build. And I did try without adding the extra gaskets as well. It just didn't hit. It didn't feel very good. I feel like I needed to add those to get the true effect. of the gaskets in this case here, just because these are so shallow. And I'll show you guys with a close-up.
I haven't tried the D65, so I'm not sure slicks.
Not replaced because they did not have gaskets that size, nor did I cut one down. That's how shallow it is. There's really nothing there, as you guys can see. It's blended right inside the case. Now on the ones that I added the extra gasket material, they've compressed a bit from being inside the case, but they're there. But yeah, overall was not too happy with the gasketing on the top piece of the frame here. And you guys can see too, there's some weird effects that happen.
I don't see it for review, Parker.
So the extra one here I put on did shift a little, and you can see some damage that actually happens to these gaskets. Now on the bottom frame, it's a little better in terms of quality. That damage is not, fortunately, except for
I think the metal plates will talk more
over here, and the gaskets have all the room in the world to do their thing. And with that,
people still buy this.
Guys to, if you guys again pick up this,
we're not saying people won't
play around with
buy
it, see what feels best to you. Again, this is just my preference. All right, now to go to another point, which I just really
just looking at it,
which is how many screws are on this plate / PCB assembly. There's a lot.
That sounds like actually, a title JYV would make Austin.
Count all the screws.
Wait, holy crap! 14 screws. That makes it really hard to open. I haven't had NK87 in hand, so I haven't either in hand.
There's a lot of screws.
I didn't like the NK65E because the plate was too tight, and any film switch would not pop out at all. It would get damaged coming out, even like a JWK.
Deterrent from someone who's going to be opening
this up to replace
those stabs we mentioned earlier. It's difficult, and honestly, it's kind of a pain to unscrew this thing. And
chill. I have a VOD YouTube channel, so I'll put it on there.
You probably only have to do this one time though, so there's that. And when we put this back together, this ends up being a very stiff typing experience because of how many screws and how stiff this whole entire area is. Even with the polycarbonate version of the plate, there's really not a lot of flex with this. So it ends up being a stiffer typing experience. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not for
Switch Couture AV3 Ego.
Stiff typing experiences. I prefer a mix of both, and these days I'm leaning more towards the softer typing experience. And I guess that begs the question of who is this board actually for? The answer is I'm not sure. I think the board crosses a really cool line by introducing more availability to the market for mechanical keyboards, but I feel like there was some stuff.
You're not the only one,
for
Austin.
example, the stabs and
that's
the
why
gaskets,
I don't use
could
it.
have been done a lot better. I do feel like the plate PCB construction kind of makes it a deterrent from newer builders, as well as again having to buy a few more parts being my recommendation of a PC plate, as well as my recommendation of picking up aftermarket stabs. So there is some work going to be put into this. Now, for argument's sake, a lot of the other starter boards don't even come with stabs, so you will have to take that apart and assembly is required anyways. I think the confusion here is this was marketed as something that you can just pop in switches and be good to go. However, from my experience with most of these projects, I end up tinkering around with them anyways, so it's not a big deal to me. However, it might be a big deal to you. So again, use your own judgment here and kind of come to a conclusion with the information that's being presented. But here's the thing though, guys, I actually think the board sounds and feels pretty good. After all said and done, you can get past all those minor inconveniences mentioned in the video. I think there's something beautiful to be had, especially for $170. I understand this is probably going to be a lot of people's first build, and I don't want to scare anyone away from buying it. These are just things that I've noticed, and I do think that with
this board comes pre-assembled.
Anything in life, there's always room for improvement. I actually quite liked my version of the polycarbonate and linear. I've been using it off and on for the last 2 weeks, and it's been an enjoyable experience.
One's acrylic and one's aluminum,
and I would love to see more
Jason.
changes going into a version 2 of this if that ever does come to fruition. I think there's a lot of good things to be had in criticism.
Get the acrylic one to try it out first, see if you like the layout. Some people don't.
Now, I know I just said this review was about the board, but I also wanted to review the standalone Glorious Goat stabilizers. I'm not sure why they're called Goat. So these are transparent housings, and they're the same ones with one exception.
You can't really do plateless with hot swap. The switches will just pop out.
Well, actually 2 that you get with the stock GMMK Pro. And as you guys can see, the wires are gold. And you do get a 7U wire and a 6.25U wire, as well as some 2U wires and your housings and stems. And if you
I don't know if anyone's going to buy this.
Metal washers, which...
Yeah, I wouldn't do metal washes either, dude. It sounds like a bad idea for ESD. Yeah, it beats drop offerings.
I do not recommend for anything other than the glorious GMMK Pro. So the point of those washers, and in a normal case you get something like a nylon or a plastic, is to break contact between the metal screw and anything that might short on the PCB. And when you have a normal solderable PCB, there's a lot of options in some cases. So for example, a split backspace or a split right shift, that would break contact for some of those additional holes that you get in the
example
PCB
of shooting yourself in the foot.
So at this point in time, I cannot really recommend either the stab or the washers that come inside it. And I don't really know why these are even in here. With the Glorious board, it's a hot swap board and it has a fixed layout. So there's no real purpose to even use washers. That's why you didn't see them included with the board. But again, I cannot recommend this for your next project where you need
washers for
first of all, because the stabilizer is just odd and I can't figure out why they rattle, and for the washers. But yeah, guys, that's all I really have for the Glorious board here. If you guys want more about this, I'll be doing a live stream teardown.
Thanks, Alex. The difference between stiff and soft is the feeling. But just remember, if you have a tactile switch, you probably want a stiffer typing experience or a stiffer plate. So brass and aluminum, probably better. You typically do not want to do tactiles with polycarbonate. FR4 is in the middle, so it's like, it's still stiff, but it's not metal. So you could use a tactile switch, but it's not going to have that same timber as a brass plate. Tactile sound more beautiful on a brass plate or aluminum. On FR4 it just mutes it a bit. So if you want a tactile switch but don't like the loud sound that comes out of it, FR4 might be an option. I've never done it on PC or palm. Thanks, Alex. Have a good dinner. Thanks for hanging out. It's definitely a preference thing. I haven't tried it.
What's up, guys?
Linder's a PC, yeah.
This is the review of the hot machine that is the Glorious GMMK Pro. Glorious has been the people's champ for a while now. They see what's popular within a certain market, and then they aim to make a product that is in high demand at a lower
He does a lot of
cost
mice, so he knows Glorious well.
People. It started with the mice like the Model O. They've also
CF is nice
with their 6% hot swap, which I give them credit for. Not many people were doing that at the time, and it was readily available. But that board kind of catered more towards the everyday user. But now, as time has gone on, more people are getting deeper into the mechanical keyboard hobby, and thus
you can, but you need the stability for the hot swap if you take out the middle standoffs.
Last year, and the winner of the Mech Madness last year was the Satisfaction 75, a 75% keyboard with a knob.
They did win.
So naturally, that was a keyboard that they tried to kind of capture within the GMMK Pro. Who can blame them though? Those things sold out within seconds. So good guy Glorious is like, you know what? We need to get more of these knob 75% keyboards out to the common person. Something else that's become increasingly popular is gasket mounting. By far my favorite mounting type on any keyboard. We'll get into the benefits of that later, but for now, I just want to say that you don't really see something like this with stabilizers at the price of $170 retail. Most likely something like this would be around $250 to $350.
So you can understand
the hype and also the concern of the community when something like this comes out at this price tag. Now I heard that the batches are delayed about 2 weeks. They were originally supposed to ship out today, but I heard that they are at the dock right now. It's going to take another week to 2 weeks for the first batch to come out and ship. And they're going to have flex batches and another batch.
So it might be fine with the rubber or the mid layer
coming up, and you can reserve those for $70, which is also pretty nice. So with all that being said, let's see what $170 of your hard-earned cash gets you.
I'm not sure about
GMMK Pro. Now they come in two different colors, a black slate and a white ice. The white ice is more of a silver, kind of confused by that. Why not just call it like the silver bullet or something like that? I don't know.
Intrinsic.
My personal favorite out of the two is
do whatever you want.
Ice or the silver bullet. The keyboard has a very nice weight and feel to it with its CNC aluminum build. It has a Glorious etched into the bottom of the case. I like that they didn't do anything crazy on the top or on the sides. They could have easily put their logo somewhere. Because they didn't do this,
yeah, like the Dixie Bauer. The Dixie is so loud on that.
it keeps the aesthetic of the keyboard very, very clean and professional. You also get the PCB and aluminum plate in there, as well as their new Go stabilizers, which are PCB mounted and their factory lube with their own G lube. So if you want to just take this out of the box and throw in some switches, hot swap hose, now's your time. I see you. And you just throw some keycaps on there and it's...
Wait, what did he say? It was at 1.25x speed. Did he say Watts hot swap synonym for rake?
ready to go. This is really good as a starter board because it will allow you to try a bunch of different
it's mostly just system volume.
Hot swap. You also get a
silver bullet would have been a great
as
name.
well as a braided cable in the box. Now knobs are becoming increasingly popular, and Glorious is also selling different knob colors as well. The gold one looks
not
sexy
Goku
as fuck. The knob is etched, giving it some.
What did he just say?
The knob is etched, giving it some texture, and the one looks sexy as fuck. The knob. Is etched, giving it some texture, and you can press down on it. It all feels very, very solid. So the first thing I really did was look at the build quality of the keyboard. The feel of the keyboard is very nice and has a great weight to it. Like I said,
crazy.
It feels very, very premium. It has RGB diffusers on the side, so it's like a Satisfaction combined with another highly popular mechanical keyboard, the Orion, which I am a huge fan of. So they took two concepts and put them into one. I don't know if they meant to do that, but they nailed it. GMMK is cleaner than a McDonald's bathroom floor. Wait. I did that wrong. The top and bottom of the case is held in by screws. Upon opening the keyboard, you'll see that there's a daughter board with a pin connector that allows the USB to sit lower
transition though.
The keyboard, which again, I'm a huge fan of that design. So don't be scared. You can unplug
his lighting's
plug it back
been
in
improved a lot.
Doing what you need to.
His lighting's improved a lot since his earlier videos where he was not using a daylight balance key light. This is a daylight balance key light, so I look like a normal color. I think he was using RGB bulbs. Okay, that's a bad pause for him. So I really like his lighting now, especially right now he's using natural light or some more daylight.
You do with the
keyboard. No more RGB.
They've also added in some foam in the bottom of the
compressed as hell as usual
keyboard to help with the resonance of the keyboard, and it does help. And they also added in a piece between the PCB as well, which again,
yeah. So if you use this plate foam, you probably do not need the standoffs for hot swap, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna need this plate foam. So you could experiment.
And help soak up some of that exit sound that may come from the keyboard. Since this is an aluminum case, these cases are more susceptible to like an...
I hate the thin pieces like this though. So when you put this in, use tweezers to push these little pieces out before you put all the switches in. Because once you start sandwiching it, you won't be able to move it. So just a pro tip for assembly.
Echo sound after you hit a switch. So it's nice that you don't have to go out and buy a whole nother piece of foam just to put into your case like some other keyboards. The PCB and the plate are screwed together around the edges and also in the middle of the keyboard with some posts, which is what you would normally see when you have a hot swap gasket mounted keyboard to keep the PCB and the plate together. Now, why people love gasket mount so much is that the top and bottom cases are sandwiching the plate in place with a foam on the post instead of having.
So the problem is if you have a gasket mount board and you have standoffs, it like cancels each other out. So you don't get too much of the benefits of the feel anyway.
Screws. The gaskets are located all around the top.
It's gonna be on my second channel.
That means there's less metal on metal action going on, which should lead to a more softening typing experience and better overall sound because you're not going to have that metal on metal action going on.
Does it not work full time anymore?
From Omnitype, he had a great analogy for this. It's like having two metal poles rubbing together. That would be like a top mount or a tray mount, like you'll see like a KBD67 or a Ducky 1 Too Many, or you can rub a pillow against the pole. Right? Which one do you think would sound better and more pleasing to the ear?
I feel uncomfortable with him rubbing his arms like that.
So once you remove the plate from the PCB and you unscrew everything, you can then remove the plate.
Is there like a sexual
foam? You can take it out, whatever you want. Glorious is also offering different plate materials, which is really cool, like brass for another $50 or polycarbonate at $20, which is the one that I usually get when I'm getting a keyboard.
This and the Sat75
because it's a softer material and more flexible. I find that it's more pleasing to type on, and it also gives a flockier sound, which is my favorite, instead of a clack like a brass or an aluminum. For me, the difference between brass and aluminum doesn't justify the $50 price tag. As a sound profile, like I said, didn't change much. Also, I felt like the software bottoming out wasn't even worth the.
Why is it using like Times New Roman? That ain't YouTube vibes.
Extra $20, and of course I'll show you all the differences between the sound signatures later on in the video. Linear, of course, is going to sound better on a polycarbonate, and tactile is going to sound better on brass or aluminum. But like I said,
but I also don't consider gasket mount, like the compression of it. When badseedtech was talking about that, I don't really feel that in gasket mount boards. For the most part, it gets sandwiched pretty tightly, so there may be a little bit of give, but never a significant amount of give when it's actually in the board. I think badseedtech was showing it outside of the board, in which case it's not being sandwiched in the case. So maybe, but once it's like closed in, it really doesn't move that much.
Sound differences are very minimal. I actually prefer the aluminum over all the other ones. In the Glorious software,
I like the aluminum more than PC.
The layers as well. You can change the knob button. By default, when you press it down, it mutes your music. But also, you can change this.
Let's skip this. We already saw this a few times.
Let's switch over to some shine through keycaps. This does have per key LED, so it shines very, very bright. All right, so next I just want to tell you guys about my experience with this keyboard. Now that we've done all the nitty gritty out of the way.
I DM'd him like a long time ago. He's still working.
What's that saying called? Do you want the good news or you want the bad news first? So let's go with the good news first. The layout is great. 75% keeps the form factor small while giving you the F row up top as well as 4 keys.
It's pretty normal, but not
this
compressed.
The angle is also very comfortable to type on. The keyboard, in my opinion, looks amazing. That knob. Now for the not so great. There's a mandatory firmware update that you have to install before you use the keyboard, and I tried it on my black keyboard and it broke my keyboard right away. It had some issues before that with not registering my keys randomly or just going off by themselves minutes later after I had hit it. So there's a lot of chattering going on and just overall issues with the PCB that I think were fixed by the firmware. I don't know. I can't even tell you. So yeah, halfway through the update, it bricked my keyboard. Okay, I tried resetting it using the reset button, doesn't work. So I can only imagine if this were to happen to you.
Panic.
You get this keyboard.
That happens as a beginner.
Only to have your keyboard arrive, and within seconds you have a fancy looking paperweight. When you're in gaming scenarios, you need your keyboard to be performing at a certain level, right? Especially if you're going to be competing with this. And I was noticing sometimes in game, it would just stop working. I'd be like, wait.
This setup's pretty sick, dude. 2 landscape monitors. This is an Elgato multi-mount for probably for his top down. This is a Rode PSA 1 arm. SM7B off to the side. I do the same thing, but I think I clip it to the right. He has a probably a 9-foot desk or 8-foot desk to be able to put his PC on here, as well as the 2 monitors and grommets for cable management through. He has these silver monitor mounts. Dual monitor mounts is the move. Of course, he has like artwork in the back because he is a nerd, comic book nerd. And the flex for the camera. He didn't need to do that, but you know, if you have it, flaunt it, baby. Has multi-M too?
Like,
I got rid of my multi-M too. I like my Gold XLR more.
I'd just be looking around like,
for streaming.
Oh, I thought I hit W, but it didn't work, and that can cost you in game, right?
Casual,
yes. Even when typing on the keyboard,
72 inch. You only have 6 foot.
Grammatical errors.
That's crazy.
Because some keystrokes just didn't get registered.
And you're doing battle,
so now,
our battle stations.
You have a paperweight keyboard. You have to send it back. It's time.
You can see right here. So this is probably his top down, his face cam. I actually have 2 of these arms too, but instead I have a side clamp right here to do my face cam, and then this arm goes taller to do my top down. That way I only have 1 arm. Yeah, so it does look like a 6-foot desk. Damn, he maximizes that. I don't like how it's tilted to the left though. For stream, I don't like to be twisted all the time. I want to be centered.
time, its energy, its resources. That's just unnecessary. So now I'm scared to flash my other keyboard, the silver one. But at the same time, it's acting up.
Yeah,
it's
I don't like
the
the
issues.
keycaps.
So you have a mandatory update.
Oh, if you're a musician, yeah, multi-M2 for sure.
And it's deleting things on its own. It's putting keystrokes on its own. And I'm not even touching the keyboard. I have no doubt the Glorious will fix this issue. I'm thinking that the firmware.
He uses Rode PSA 1. I use Blue Compass. Blue Compass looks better on camera.
Update that they sent out.
The Rode PSA 1 is scissor
fixing
level.
this, but there's also that possibility
My face cam,
of breaking your keyboard. So
you
might have a different experience from me.
So in terms of like eye level is the top of the monitor for ergonomics, so the camera is slightly above. So it's like this much above eye level. So I'm looking up a little bit, but I try to keep it centered and eye level ish.
I can only report what's happening to me. In my units, this is what's happening, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is the sound. Sound is subjective.
It's all
some
good.
people prefer clack, some people prefer thought.
You deserve the multi-M2.
It is. And you know, it's not going to affect your gameplay in any way, let's be real. In the enthusiast...
That's true. For normal people, I'm not going to call people normies because that sounds very offensive and patronizing. For normal people, they have headphones in when they use the keyboard for gaming because you need to hear sound. If you have headphones in, you can't even hear ticking from stabs, rattle from stabs. You probably won't be even able to feel the difference between lubed and unlubed, especially if it's like a JWK that's really smooth and already has factory oil on it. But enthusiasts have a different perspective.
Space though, people do care about sound. They do care about how it feels. So you really want to look at what camp you fall in.
I didn't call you normie. I called you a normal person. You just want
something that looks cool and will satisfy your gaming needs. So naturally, I tried Glorious's own Panda tactile switches in here, as well as the highly regarded JWK linear switches, which have become the standard recently. Pandas have stock factory lube, and the EVAs are lubed and filmed with Krytox205 grade 0 lube. I'm using Glorious's new PBT keycaps, which come in a bunch of different gradients, really sexy keycaps. I'm going to be reviewing all of their accessories later on in this week.
Even with open ones, you can barely hear, especially once you hear game sounds.
Video kind of concise and on the keyboard, because there's a lot to cover. But enough talking, I tried them on different places so you guys can hear what they sound like, so enjoy.
To be fair, he's being very detailed. All right. Let's pull back the sound speed or the playback speed.
Enough talking. I tried them on different plays so you guys can hear what they sound like, so enjoy.
Some people just want to match ego. The spacebar. I've fallen, I can't get up. Yeah, this board's pretty thocky considering it's a heavy aluminum case with all the foam. I'm really confused. MMX, most people just don't use Times New Roman on YouTube. Roboto is pretty sick. I use Avenir. Give me some DBZ lube. Someone called 911 for that spacebar. I mean, this is probably the thockiest combo you can get. If you want a hot swap with the knob and F-row, yeah. Other than that, there's other options. I would personally go with the KBD75, but it definitely doesn't look as sick. KBD75 looks.
So as you can tell, the new Ghost stabilizers are pretty good on the backspace, enter, and shift keys.
Might be its
any
own
keyboard
profile.
though, even in custom builds, the hardest thing to nail is the spacebar, and I feel like no company has really gotten that down yet completely, except for maybe like Leopold. So you'll probably have to do some modding there. Since the stabilizers are PCB mounted,
it is kind of ugly.
You can replace this with Durox, but Durox are actually a little bit too thick, so you're gonna have to shave those down so they'll fit within the plate. For me, there's just something that feels wrong about that, so I'm not going to do that. I know that they're gonna be releasing plates to allow for more space for third-party stabilizers. If I were a beginner, I probably love the sound of this keyboard. It's definitely better than the Drop Alt in that regard. You also have to remember the price of this keyboard, and it's something I have to do. It's $170. So I think when the GMMK Pro was announced, people were looking for $300 worth of sound and a $170 keyboard, which is where a lot of the hype was coming from because it kind of mimicked the Satisfaction 75. I don't know if that's the case. I think it's more of a $170 keyboard that sounds
like the compact
$170
keyboard.
Look awesome. I will go as far as to say if I had to choose between the Alt or this, I would actually choose this. I don't know what it is with entry-level keyboards these days, but they love plate-mounted stabs. I love that they went with PCB-mounted stabs.
So it's mostly like plate-mounted stabs and 3-pin switches only, in which case I would never touch it.
This should be more of what the standard should look like.
I don't like that camera change she just did. You saw that pan?
Stabs. This
what is he doing?
Should be more of what the standard should look like when it comes to,
like, it went to the left and then went up. I would have cut to something else.
Custom mechanical keyboards and the entry space. The Drop Alt also has the integrated plate, whereas this one is gasket mounted, which is way better. If they can fix the problems with the PCB and make the software solid to where
they should be able to fix it,
break your keyboard, and they can fix this chattering problem that makes keystrokes go off by themselves,
75%
or not go off at
compact is
all,
kind
or
of
go off a minute later, then $170 is right in line with what this keyboard is offering, and it allows you to dip your toe into the water and see if you really like custom keyboards.
I agree, Matthew.
Before dropping $300 to $400 on a middle or to high-end board. But I love that they're trying to be a one-stop shop for newcomers that are new to the space, which of course has been their whole mission.
Hardware Connects B-roll is kind of good.
Like I said,
not goat stabilizer,
giving you guys quality at a lower price. As of right now, personally, the board is unusable. I want to get with them and discuss how to update it.
It's quite literally unusable for him.
Because like I don't want y'all's keyboard to mess up. You know, you just spent $170 on it. So the last thing you want is for it to ride DOA. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for my.
How many more we got? Okay, the last one is Betty's. I'm pretty sure I angered a lot of Betty's fans, and they came to my channel just fighting me. But there's nothing against Betty. Betty is killing it on YouTube, dude. Compared to me, killing it. I'm just talking smack because I'm jelly for subcam, bro. Clip that. Just kidding. You can't clip on YouTube. So ha, suckers. I'm just kidding. All right. I'm gonna take a break real quick because I need to go to the restroom. Chat amongst yourselves. I'll be back. Sorry. Wait, $50 whole for a brass plate? Fuck. That's rough. So the chat ID is still linked to my old the Twitch one for that pause menu. I just hadn't had a chance to fix it. It's 40. That's regular pricing. I'd rather just use aluminum if it came with it. I wouldn't go out of my way to get a brass plate if it costs $40 on a board like that. Coil cables $50, you can get them cheaper. Oh, my bad. I'll have to fix that. Oh, because I have to add stream mix. Here, let me add it right now before I forget. Real quick. Should be playing now. Alright. Alright, make sure everyone subscribes, switch and click for all the heat I sent her way for absolutely nothing. Because she just happened to be the person reviewing the GMMK Pro the first time on the stream. Sub to her, give her some support. She started very similar time as me on YouTube. I actually have talked to her a few times about like mics and stuff and keyboards. Yeah, coil cable is cheaper than 50. They're usually on Reddit. Check the prices of cable craze. They were pretty fair last time I checked. I mean, I got a straight cable for like $35. Yeah, support Asian American content creators as well. Not a lot of us out here doing it. I'm gonna catch you up though, Betty. I'm like 1/4 of her sub count. I'm gonna try. Awkwardly, I wasn't even subbed. What an asshole. Alright. Yeah, that's why when I find someone that makes under $50, I buy from them. But I usually like straight cables also. The aviators are aviators so 2019, 2020, bro.
This is a GMMK Pro. Is it perfect right out of the box? No, but it's pretty dang good. And we'll find out more coming up.
I feel like I subbed her before too.
Hey guys, this is Betty from Switch and Click, and today we've got the GMMK Pro in the white ice colorway.
So one comment on her face cam. I don't know why it's like soft. Compare mine where you can see every single pore. Hers is soft. Might be a lower res.
With the glorious GPBT keycaps on it.
Most people
I've
want to
been
see
using
too much
this
detail on their
pretty
face.
consistently for about a month now, and I know
I think her camera has a red light.
super excited about this, so we're just
She
going
gets
to
to have a
jump
real
into
opinion
it
this time?
right
Yeah.
away.
Let's check her B-roll. Okay. Okay, Betty. Shoot. Got the glitch transition, the spin transition. Okay. The push in. Hands.
Inside the original
The
GMMK Pro
unboxing.
packaging, you do get additional gas.
If you want these transitions, there is a transition pack that my buddy made. Hold on. Shoot. Baker's Tuts, yeah. Peter McKinnon actually used this. This is my buddy from school.
Is it quick? This we can tell has our 1080.
I just want to show you.
Difference to any our output height. Let's visible on this bit of the screen that looks like the camera is smoother and better.
See, it has those transitions. In case you were wondering where people got those, they're presets. Easy. You gotta pay for them. But yeah, let's get back to the video.
You get a USB-C cable. It's white, it's braided. Honestly, it's not too much of anything special. You get a plastic keycap puller and you get a really small metal switch puller as well. But none of those accessories are anything I would typically use because Glorious is selling a lot of additional accessories, which we'll talk about closer to the end of the video, but I'm pretty excited.
So what you see here is so this is a 16 to 35 millimeter. The more wide shot you use, the more personal it feels. So right here, if I get close to the camera, it feels like I'm here talking to you, and it feels less impersonal. If I zoom in at 35 and you get more bokeh and I'm right here, it feels a little tight. So in filmmaking, when they use these shots, it's supposed to disconnect you from the subject. Just in case you didn't know. So I try to go down to like 24 and then I use it like that.
For all of them. And yes, this is a bare bones build, so you do need to provide your own switches and keycaps.
Yeah, especially when she does a punch-in zoom, which a lot of people use to break up cuts. If you're already tight and you go a little bit tighter and you start cutting off your head, it's a little unfortunate.
Not stabilizers though. We're gonna start with talking about the different plates that are available, because this build is super customizable. So the case itself does come with a stock aluminum plate, but there are other plates available such as brass and polycarbonate as well. I tested
when I zoom in
various plates with the same Novelty Creams switches lubed with Tofu65.
I just want to like make a note on that because a lot of people think more blurry background is better. So to do that, you zoom in really tight and you get far away from the background. But there is a psychological effect on the viewer.
G0, and you'll be
not
able
to critique
hear
her. I'm just using this as an opportunity to explain because I have the opposite camera as her, opposite lens use as her.
With the gaskets, the aluminum plate still felt really springy. The brass plate was very stiff in the sense that
was I muted? I was muted. So I was explaining that after we saw her face cam as well as her angle from a keyboard, it's pretty clear that she's using a 50mm lens on a crop sensor. That's why it's so tight and she can't get back further enough. If you see right here, she barely cleared the bottom of the board. And you can see the background blur where only the left side's in focus. So I'm pretty sure I can guess that's a 50mm on a crop sensor. And she's just, it's really hard to use indoors. And I really wanted to explain the difference because she's using a 50mm on crop, so equivalent 85mm. I'm using a 16 to 35mm on full frame. So I'm using from ultra wide to wide. She's using a telephoto and it has a psychological effect on the viewer. Pay for sound test is dirty. That is a little bit dirty, but also very smart to make the money. You know what else is dirty? Real quick, if you want to support me, I have a Patreon. Just want to drop that there. I agree.
With the gaskets, the aluminum plate still felt really springy. The brass plate was very stiff in the sense that it was like, why do I have gaskets in the first place? And it just doesn't flow well together. The polycarbonate plate is the most flexible, but it's also the most loose. When I was pulling out keycaps, the switches just came out with it. It's not a good sign, and I did tell him that. In terms of springiness or flexibility, it would be polycarbonate as the highest, then aluminum,
nice animation
then brass.
On the text.
And the plate that you go with will just depend on what switches you're using and what kind of feel and what kind of sound you would like. Polycarbonate plate is $20 and the brass one is an additional $50, and the aluminum one just comes with your board. It's a very heavy board made of CNC'd aluminum with a very big, deep, glorious branding on the very back. On the side, there are RGB diffusers that really allow it to have a smooth, flowing RGB transition rather than being able to see each individual LED.
I'm going to drop my comp test after the stream. Right?
And where light emits from, so that's a really nice upside. The case design itself reminds me a lot of the KBD75, especially from the side and from the back as well. The USB-C port is right in the middle. It is slightly recessed, but there's plenty of room here to be able to fit any cable that you would want to. On the back, you see that there are a lot of different screw holes.
I'm gonna get
and perhaps they did use too many screws for this build, because when you're taking it apart, you really have to be careful not to lose any of them, and there are a lot of screws. Keep them separated and keep them organized. There's no kickstands on the back, just 4 rubber bump-ons, and because the case is so heavy, these 4 rubber bonbons are enough to keep it from sliding anywhere. On the front, you can see that it's an exploded 75% layout. And what that means is that instead of all the keys being crammed together, you have a different cluster for your arrow keys, and you have a different cluster for these keys on the side here. And of course, there's that rotary encoder knob that some of you may hate, some of you may love. It comes in silver on the white ice edition, black on the black edition, and you have the option of buying a gold colored knob as well. I've tried it on this board and it just doesn't look good. From all the sides, you can see that the keycaps are just slightly raised above the case. You can see the switch just slightly, but it's not high enough to really see the stems or anything beyond that. When the RGB is on, everything does bounce up off of the plate and it projects up quite nicely. I
actually do prefer having white PCB for this reason. If you're going to use the perky RGB with the PC plate, do I have a white PCB in my Rukia? On a PC case especially, you do want the white PCB for the white light reflection. The Ducky 1.2 Mini also uses a white PCB or white plate, and it pops, dude. It pops.
If you have keycaps like these that are not shine through. However, in dim lighting, it is hard to see these keycaps. And looking inside, we do see that there are 5-pin hot swappable sockets, and they are south facing, so no need to worry about any of those cherry profile.
If you like your coil, you can do a straight coil out, but yeah, you have to have a non-right angle coil. If I do coils, I try to do a straight coil.
Keycaps interfering, you can pretty much use any mechanical switch in here that you'd like and any keycap profile.
Is that her dog? Or does she have a dog or a cat? That thing looks like a lion.
As well. And there are
that must be a cat. Dogs don't do that.
Goat stabilizers in here. These are Glorious's proprietary.
It's high profile, but not really. Yeah, the switches are exposed.
Stabilizers, and looking really close at them, they do resemble Duroc or Everglide stabilizers, except they have all clear housings. There are no feet at the bottom to clip. They are PCB screw-in, and I would say all of them sound pretty decent, except for that spacebar. I did re-lube all of my stabilizers, but that spacebar needs a lot of additional lube to get it to sounding pretty decent.
I'm very hesitant to say something like that, because there is a line where once you put too much lube into the stab, especially if you don't specify to focus on the wire, you will destroy your stabilizer, and the key will not return. It will be completely unusable. So this is true, these stabs need a lot of work, but just adding more lube at a certain point, you're going to ruin the feel of your keyboard. Sorry, I forgot to slow down. It's at 1.5.
Decent.
To be fair, the non-stab keys sound fine. I think it sounds pretty good for the price. The backspace also sounds okay.
And yeah,
the space bars.
Those stabilizers are not the greatest of all time.
They're not even great. They're not even good. The cherry ones I get from KBD fans are better.
But they are PCB screw-in, so you know, just toss them out and replace them with your preferred stabilizers, and then you'll be good to go. I mean, at least it came with stabilizers, right? A lot of kits don't even come with stabilizers.
I don't know about that.
You have to
she didn't mention anything about the tight fit.
Buy your own.
So I don't think she's changed it.
Provide your own, so I guess that's not too bad. So the past month, I've been using this a lot. Like a lot. For gaming, for typing, for work, for pretty much everything.
Because she tests a lot of this consumer grade.
There's no manual in the box, so it is difficult to be like, what's on the secondary layer, or how do I change my RGB lighting and things like that. But with the Glorious Core software, it's pretty easy to use. It takes a little bit of tinkering with, but overall it's quite intuitive, and it's not boggled down by a ton of extra features either. You've got 3 different profiles that you can edit on the software itself. I believe you can only save one profile to your board at a time by pressing that save button. You can do perky lighting. Really, clusters sound very nice, like the function row and the arrow keys. It's just the alphas that sound a little bit more hollow. There's just a lot of space there. Overall, I think it's pretty good, and it can compete with custom kits like KBD75 or the Tofu65 at
it's only
the same price point too, while offering, you know, a few more features as well. Is it perfect though? It's not. It's going to require you to open it up, test it out.
Unfortunately, this board requiring extra work is a miss. Like, people buying this board are just going to want to be able to do what GMK or Gloria said, which was put switches in and put keycaps on and be ready to go. But it looks like some people may not care though, I guess. They just want the aesthetic.
Maybe mod it a little bit more. Try it without the foam, try it with the foam, try double gaskets, try single gaskets. You know,
double
it's gonna take
from Alex's
a little bit of time to get it the way that you want it to. But at $170, it's
I agree, Fedder. Really this was much more fair than
a bad deal.
Like I said on the reaction stream, she literally had 2 employees in the same stream with her, watching her, listening to her. She couldn't really say anything.
It's not going to be any of those customly crafted, beautifully designed custom keyboards out there, but it will be widely available, and maybe you won't have to wait as long to jump into the hobby. It's a good stepping stone for beginners. Yes, 170 is a little bit steep for beginners, but it's a great way to experiment with the different plate materials, gasket mounts, all those things that weren't widely available for people to just purchase. There are really budget-friendly customs nowadays that are gasket mounted, that do offer different plate materials, that get all those great things. Maybe not with an aluminum CNC case though, so it's just preference, it's what you want. Alright, so Glorious also launched a ton of different keyboard-related accessories.
Wait, they have a lube station? Very interesting. Okay, I don't like the panda from the top. This looks really weird. I hurt.
With the launch of their GMMK Pro, and we'll be going over them really fast. Prices will be on the screen if you're interested in how much they cost. I do have concerns about some of these accessories, but it's nice to have the option to purchase it.
I don't think you realized her cat was just being a fool.
Alright, so you've got a switch opener, and I didn't personally like it because it feels cheap and plastic and flimsy, and I definitely prefer an aluminum switch opener, but for a price of $10, it's pretty affordable. You also get a switch puller that resembles the Rama one a whole lot. It functions very nicely, but be careful because the paint at the ends will chip and sort of will go onto your plate of your keyboard, and you'll just have to rub that off. But it gets a little bit annoying, so maybe you can...
Ironically, this looks exactly like the Rama one.
Pre-chip all the paint off, and then you won't have to worry about it. There's also a keycap puller, but it's really tight at the opening, so I personally don't like using it.
This is the Amazon one.
You get a cleaning kit with a rocket blower, a cleaning cloth, and a small brush. Pretty nice. I use that rocket blower a lot. There's also a carrying case, which is pretty cool. The handle's really nice, and it's got a pocket on the inside that can hold some of your accessories like your keycap puller, your knob, your switch puller, things like that. But personally, I don't use it often because my board just sits on my desk all day. And as I mentioned before, you get the option of purchasing that gold colored knob or that black colored knob or the...
What's the material though?
Silver colored knob.
Wait, $10? That's aluminum.
Depending on what board you get. They also have a lube station and their G-Lube for all your
lube station looks legit.
Needs.
What? Hold on. The barricade was listed yet? He didn't have prices for his yet.
It's 36 switches. The lube brush is pretty cool. It's got an ergonomic grip. If you put it down, the brush tip doesn't touch your mat or your floor or your desk or whatever, so that's pretty convenient. So there's a palm rest. It looks pretty amazing, but it is way too large for me to use. You got coiled cables of different colors.
They have colored aviators. That's actually kind of nice.
I've got the white.
Wait, my bots are working? Wait, hold on. Oh, what? It only took a day. Wait, is it working? Hold on. Nothing's working. The cables look legit, yeah. Okay, I lied. Nothing's working. I thought it would have worked.
One, I do have some concerns for its plastic end and fitting into more variety of keyboards though, but overall it looks pretty good, and that coil is really thick. And then you can buy the dose stabilizer separately if you
it's
choose.
like super
With all that
delayed.
being said, you can think we're shills if you want. I've personally already gotten enough hate, and I'm sort of
I'm
over
sorry.
it. If you want to hate,
Yeah, sorry.
you know, take it somewhere else. Just
It's unfortunate that she's dealing with it too, and I'm dealing with it for being on the opposite side. It's just people need to stop being so toxic toward content creators.
take it somewhere else. Take it to your closet. Think what you want. Do what
I
you
don't know
want.
how to.
It's your money.
Hold on. How do you ban him?
Purchase what you want. Don't spend money on the GMMK Pro. If
That's
you
a
don't
big
want
ass
to,
LA
spend
freaking
money
YouTube.
on it if you want to. I don't really care. Keyboards are a super subjective hobby, and it's all preferential, and that's why it's so much fun. You don't need someone else telling you that you're wrong. There's no black and white answers. Everything's gray. Everything's gray. You can make your board sound the way you want, feel the way you want, look the way you want. Not how I want it, how you want it. So go out there and have fun, and don't hate on.
On that same note, please stop telling me to spec your boards for you. He logged into another account. Oh. That's whack. You only hide people, their way to ban. How many accounts is he gonna make?
For liking what they like. But if you do want to go and get the GMMK Pro, check out the link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This video.
Wait, did she list a font?
Oh, check out the link down below.
Oh,
Thank you so much for
one of her
watching.
patrons' name is a font.
And I'll see you
I was confused.
in the next one. This video was hard to film, and to be honest, I didn't even want to go through with this review. And I know
Oh, shit.
it's widely expected, and all of you are really, really excited for it, but with a lot of the toxicity and the hate and the judgments that surround a board like this, it's like I'm afraid to even put myself out there on the internet. I'm also a human being. Like, I put on a strong front. I'm independent. I'm strong. I'm resilient. You know, and like words are words, but
Dude, that's fun.
you know, things still hurt. Like if you're gonna say something bad about someone and like do it on the internet, like there's still a person behind that screen. Like that's, and you see my face too. Like I'm not some robot thing that makes videos. I have feelings too, and all the creators do. We all have feelings.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you say bad things, it hurts people, you know? And having to deal with that over and over and over again, it's hard. Yes, you sort of get used to it, and you instantly just want to like report, delete, whatever, and hide, whatever it is. And that works, but you know, I still saw it, and even if it's gone and no one else can read it, like I still saw it. And
I'm not going
throughout the
ahead.
day,
What,
you know,
what
it's
are you
sort
talking
of
about
bothers
me?
And it's like that nagging feeling in the back of your mind that you think about, like that hateful comment, and it's hard, and
Does she do this in all her videos?
it adds up. So just, you know, think about what you're typing or what you're saying before you judge someone on the internet. It's hard to say. I like the GMMK Pro, you know, and I feel like I can't even express how much I like it, because then I'm like a sellout or a shill, but I like it and I like using it, but a lot of this makes me not want to like it. I don't even know what to say. So anyways, I'm sort of thirsty and losing my voice, so I'm gonna head out now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider supporting us on Patreon if you want to help us do what we do for the long term. Thank you to our patrons for making this all possible. And remember, you're human, I'm human. Don't hurt other humans. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
So, I made a rule thing on my Discord talking about this. Critique towards content creators. I posted on Twitter about this. It says, regarding critiquing content creators, I think we all need to take a step back and realize that we are talking about people that are full-time or doing it on the side with their main job. And they're here to make entertaining or educational content for others. And you're talking to a person, not a faceless corporation. So she mentions that you need to realize that she is a person. Content creators bust their ass and deal with mental health issues to make non-stop content. If you are part of the Twitch community, you probably remember someone straight up killed themselves from the stuff they deal with online. That's what I'm referring to when I say time go through burnout, depression, or even worse. Worse is killing yourself. Being an influencer or content creator is not a meme, it's a job. It's way more demanding than a 40-hour-a-week job. Yeah, it was wreckful. They're inundated with hundreds and thousands of messages. People are constantly talking to them about them or attacking them. It's really tough, and I wonder if I posted this a while ago, and I'm doing it full time right now, and it's definitely scary. So as someone who's been seeing what goes on behind the curtain, I sympathize. It's tough. Making content online and putting yourself out there, basically to be a walking target for people, is extremely difficult. And my critique on the GMMK Pro stream was not on Betty. It was how GM Glorious was handling the stream. And I try to pull back and explain the background for the things I said. But I'm sure she's experienced way worse because she became the only person that was not a Glorious employee that was reviewing that board. What? John, that's very unfortunate. There's more to the review? Wait, I paused it, right? Did I not watch to the end?
I'm gonna head out now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider supporting us on Patreon if you want to help us do what we do for the long term. Thank you to our patrons for making this all possible. And remember, you're human, I'm human. Don't hurt other humans. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Did I miss anything at the end of the video? Yeah, she was the first, so she became the target because Glorious more or less, they're not gonna attack those two people. Yeah, like they didn't let her say anything, so she was between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, if you want to support what she's doing, I think she has a team because she has a website. Where's her website? Yeah, like they have a website. They have this whole thing, and she has writers and stuff. Trust, he's committed. The whole setup was tough. I mean, Alexotos is dealing with a very similar thing because he did a stream for them as well. Yeah, they told her to shake it. I was like, what the hell? Hard to do with like Taeha? Yeah. Guys, I thought they had more people because they have a bunch of guides and stuff. I didn't know it was her husband because you see the writer down here, Betty. Hi, later, Metonical. Am I going to do the next reveal? I don't know. I don't assume anything. Yeah, Twitch chat was suggesting dumb stuff too. I agree with Betty, but unfortunately many people behind their screens don't give a shit about others. Yeah, it's tough. I don't think, no matter what side you get to, it never becomes easier to deal with this kind of stuff. I need to grab my chat. I'm gonna end the stream there. I want to end the reviews there. Let me grab my chat. So I'll put it on the screen. Nah, they didn't send me a unit. Surprise. I'm getting one from the production run. Yeah, she's strong from preview reviews. I mentioned that on the my reaction stream. I was like, her space is this, like these reviews, where she can actually edit it. She can take her time to like research, which she's obviously good at. And I almost felt like they gave her talking points and didn't elaborate on anything and didn't give her a chance to actually look at it prior. I don't know what Memento is. Compression is normal, but having jacked up gaskets does not. What's all the drama behind the toxicity? They're crossing. So when I came from the YouTube space and went over to the Twitch and over to keyboards, like I was doing tech stuff on YouTube. I dealt with a lot of similar stuff. I was getting made fun of for every single video I made. And they're like, what do you know? What have you bought? What keyboard do you type on? So when you cross over to a different kind of niche, this happens. So Glorious is a bigger company trying to get into a small niche, and they're trying to increase availability. Mode Designs also did a similar thing where they're trying to bring in-stock boards, which they did. The Mode 80, and they're going to do the Mode 65. They are facing the same kind of like wall from. It's not all elitist. It's just people from a niche hobby feeling threatened by a bigger company coming in. Stropin, we watched the end. Do I have to mute you? We literally watched the entire end. We paused and we watched it, my friend. Yeah, it's unfortunate. They shouldn't have to deal with it, but they have to. It's like I only started on Twitter, so I haven't really felt the brunt of it. But at the same time, I think creators have to be cognizant of what kind of vibe they give off to their community. I think I talked to at some point the person who said shake it. They felt bad. A Leica camera without a Leica lens. Oof. I agree, MMX. The GMMK Pro can't be worse than most pre-builts out there. No, it's not a pre-built though. So like the main concern about the GMMK Pro is whether or not it should be compared with a SAS75, like a GB board, or a more affordable starter entry-level board. The sound and feel can be achieved with a cheaper board, but not with a knob and F-Row. And now with the knob, F-Row, and the aesthetics of this kind of like gamer enthusiast or gamer focused kind of look. What would you call it if not a pre-built? It's an entry-level hot swap board. So like the KBD67 Lite, Ikki68 Aurora, soon to be the Barrelite. There's a Kara, and there's the Portico. Those are entry-level customs. It's supposed to be an entry-level custom because of the hot swap. When you have switches soldered in, now it's a pre-built. If you have to put in your own switches, I consider it a custom. GMMK Pro is greater than 7V. Gerald, stop trolling. Is the Mint keyboard the Ikki? Yes. Ikki68. Some people don't like the fact that it's 2 columns. And this is the KBD67 Lite R2. We need to mute Stropin, Eric. Or hide them, whatever the fuck they're doing. What's the board on the desk with 2 side F-rows? This is a Juby. Let's see if the command works. Thanks, Wham Bam. It was whatever they gave me. Have I built a thermal? I've only heard about the thermal from my buddy who also builds, Bueno builds. He didn't like the interference with the plate. There was some kind of like pinging. Do you think the sound of the GMMK Pro is on the same level? On the same level. Wait, sorry, I lost the chat. GMMK Pro sounds worse than the KBD67 Lite that I have right here. It clearly does. but I think you can achieve a clack out of the GMMK Pro. But here, the KBD67 Lite looks cheap, dude. Looks cheaper than the GMMK Pro, but it also is cheaper, right? You can see I'm handling it with one hand without issue. Is the Tofu65 a good board? Yeah. I'll probably give Andy my car for stream for y'all. Dude, that'd be dope, Joe. How's the Juby? It sounds more here. It sounds... You hear this. It sounds... You might say the KBD67 Lite sounds better. My stabs are having issues on the GB, but because it's plateless, it's more of a feel than a sound type of build. GB is a little hollow. It's pretty hollow. So the KBD67 is actually less hollow than the GB, but when you do a plateless build, often it ends up sounding hollow. Yeah, it's a black cherry pie switch. Is a very enthusiast and waste of money switch. I have a Jigglypuff too. I just put it on another board. It does sound hollow, Elijah, but I like the feel of plateless, so I deal with it. So you can't have everything. You can't have sound, feel. You can't have like plateless without hollow, I found. Unless we're looking at the new, which is the GB board coming. I entered that GB. It may have the plateless feel without hollowness, but I think it's more stiff than most plateless. When you have plateless like the IDB60, it ends up sounding kind of hollow. We're on YouTube because GMMK Pro is being searched more on YouTube. I like the KBD67 more than the Ikki, but the Ikki can probably get a better clack. You buy a glorious air thing to clean it, Joe. Holy Boba sounds so good. Yeah, they do. All right, I'm gonna make a sound test live. I'm gonna do instant premiere. We're gonna hop over there. Hopefully the stream was fun for everybody. Wait. Turn off that browser. Someone's gonna steal my fucking thing. What the fuck? What is that? Here we go. We're gonna make that sound test live. Where's my page? I lost my live stream page. We're on YouTube so Andy doesn't have to dance every 5 minutes. That's true, dude. We're gonna set this as instant premiere. I'm gonna hit publish. I'm gonna end the stream. Hopefully y'all all had fun. Make sure you jump on my Discord. I'm gonna drop it one more time. It's pinned. I'm gonna drop it one more time. I make content on YouTube, Twitch. I stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and on YouTube I'll do maybe Tuesday, Thursday. We'll see. I'm a full-time content creator. So please consider supporting my Patreon, donating, or just watching my videos and sharing them with friends. You don't have to spend money to support me. And as a reminder, we just saw that heartfelt message from Betty. Please don't be toxic to each other, especially to content creators, especially if they just have a different type of preference. Not everyone needs these expensive ass boards. This Juby cost me $700 on extras, and I recommend it to nobody. Absolutely nobody. If you want it, you want it. You know you want it. But if anyone asks, is it worth it? Fuck no. Absolutely not. I don't, Mr. Foos. I don't have the inside information. No problem, Joko. We're gonna put the hold on. I have another stream channel. Make sure you subscribe to that. Put the VOD right up there as soon as I download it. Let me switch channels. This is called, it's called Andy V New in Archives. So subscribe to that. The VOD will be up there. I'm gonna pull it off of this main channel because I think it's gonna mess with my metrics. Yeah. I will be on the instant premiere that's going to go live right now. It's the LZ Physics. I did bait with the title. Please excuse me. Any alternative for the Ikki68? KBD67 Lite. The KBD67 Lite has two options. I'm going to drop the link one more time before we head out of here. I think it's in stock on... the R1 is in stock, but the R2 is unlimited GB. These are my affiliate links, so please consider using them. How do I link it? Should I make a post on my main channel? I can do that. But I don't want to have the VOD because no one's going to watch the full thing. It's going to mess up the metrics. Thank you. Hopefully, please be kinder to each other. Even if they're not content creators, just if someone likes something else, that's fine. But if they're like Bob, screw Bob. Bob can go fall in a hole. Alright, y'all. Thanks for an amazing stream. My first YouTube stream. I think it was pretty fun. I'm gonna publish that instant premiere. I'm gonna watch. I'll see you on the sound test in like 3 seconds. Alright. Have a good day. Stay safe. You don't have to stay inside, but stay safe. See you.